your boy young, I give him that thing. Pancho legs stand, Panchita America, Panchita Dual, Pancho legs stand, Panchita America, Panchita Dual, Ban walk on your leg, Kankara, what I know watching, Oga live leg, year, Pow, leg, Panda with ya, Panchita America, Panya Dual, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Papu Panda, you what ya be. Panchita America, Panchita Dual, Panchita legs stand.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are tuning in. Welcome to Lagos State Media in this breaking news moment. My brother Abraham Madid, take over, greet the people, and we will come back to the
Welcome. Thank you, Brother Isaac and Brother Agar Mabuk. Greeting to you, and good morning and good evening to everyone who tuning in. Thank you for joining Lagos State Media tonight. Brother Agar, take over. Please start sharing the video.
Thank you, Brother Isaac, Brother Madid, and Brother Isaac Jengfol, and all the viewers, wherever you are. Good morning in Australia, good evening in America and Canada, and early morning back home, Africa in general, especially in South Sudan. I greet you all. Thank you so much. Back to you, Isaac.
All right, thank you so much, guys. We have some breaking news, and we know our country, Mujahaja, as our hero, and he's a great artist. Gordon Kongs wrote it in his song. That Sudan Mujaja, Mafra Alena Kuluna. In the country, a lot of things are happening day and night. Let's listen to this song, and everything will be mashing.
Belena, Sudana, Belena, Taban, Benjamin, Yarapuna, Kalichup Ayana, Belena, Mamurta, Sudan, Mujaja, Mafira, Lena, Yalna Maidin, Painana, Rapuna. Belena, Taban, Benjamin, Yarapuna. Kalichup Ayana, Belena, Mamurta, Sudan, Mujaja, Mafira, Lena, Yalna Maidin, Painana, Rapuna. Belena, Taban, Benjamin, Yarapuna. Kalichup Ayana, Belena, Mamurta, Sudan, Mujaja, Mafira, Lena, Yalna Maidin, Painana, Rapuna. South Sudan, Yakwana, Shitel, Combelet, Mushakil, Dalbi Tenderta, Dalbi Tenderta. South Sudan, Yakwana, Shitel, Combelet, Mushakil, Dalbi Tenderta, Dalbi Tenderta. South Sudan, Yakwana, Shitel, Combelet, Mushakil, Dalbi Tenderta, Dalbi Tenderta.
Start sharing the video, guys. Start sharing the video.
Shit el kum ya jama, shit el kum ya jama, Rabbuna bisai. Ana bike da shan kum ya Sudan, shit el kum ya jama, shit el kum ya jama, Rabbuna bisai. Our beloved leading in Sudan, Lord our God, from instability, our land not comfort to the knees are finished because of war between us. Our children terminated among of other love. Our beloved leading in Sudan, Lord our God, from his stability, our land not comfort to the needs are finished because of war between us. Our children terminated among of other love. You Sudanese, be careful, we all have problem. When will I be happy? And then be happy. When will I be happy? You Sudanese, be careful, we all have problem. When will I be happy? And then be happy. When will I be happy? I'm crying about you, Sudanese, be careful, my people, who take care of my parents. God bless you. I'm crying about you, Sudanese, be careful, my people, who take care of my parents. God bless you. Arzidam na jinubda, yauta shaifinu, alela jinubda fiyadna, yalla yalla yalla, yalla yakwana, di Sudan jadi sejauhlena salah. Arzidam na jinubda, yauta shaifinu, alela jinubda fiyadna, yalla yalla yalla, yalla yakwana, di Sudan jadi sejauhlena salah. سيبوا مشاكل بيناتكم هاي من زمان في جنوبنا الناس كتير بموت سنبلة الليل لما في أيدول بموت سنبلة السودان سلام يجمل قلوبنا ما دايرين تبرغا دمنا واحد فربنا واحد ما في قبلية بيناتنا سيبوا مشاكل بيناتكم هاي من زمان في جنوبنا الناس كتير بموت سنبلة الليل ما في أيدول بموت سنبلة السودان سلام يجمل قلوبنا ما دايرين تبرغا دمنا واحد وربنا واحد ما في قبلية بيناتنا.
Right.
Wallahi, go
Powerful song.
Yeah, وقلنا لذيذ جدا وقلنا سما one of the best song that is giving us, we South Sudanese, a vision, putting us on the right track. And that's why sometimes I say these things, and I will repeat it, Abraham and Agar,
Mhm.
our artists, they are like prophets.
Yes.
Their songs, they have some meanings in it. They see things ahead, far, far more than our politicians. So, Gordon Kong, thank you so much for your song. We live in us. It is us who will just not listen to it. For if you listen to it and you digest it, you have already said everything that is supposed to be. I will take it back to you, Abraham, to highlight while I'm inviting some people here. They need to drop the link to them and to send the link as well.
Okay, thank you, Isaac Nagar. And for those of you who are watching, please start sharing video. This topic for today, we are opening for discussion. So link will be pinned down there and you click and come. So our discussion for this evening, we have a breaking news. Breaking news that Simon is overthrow Commander-in-Chief Dr. Riek Machar. So Simon Garwich was chief of staff of IO, SPLM. And for some reason, the SPLM, as we also this we know, for past couple months, SPLM have a crisis within IO. And finally, we got a breaking news that General Simon Garwich has now declared as a commander-in-chief. So which is a coup mostly is overthrown first by President Dr. Riek Machar. So the question is, what a reaction within SPLM in Juba and SPLM in the bush. So that is breaking news. Number one, we want to discuss today. And the platform for legislative media is open for all South Sudanese. So you are welcome to join us, whether you are a government supporter or you are an opposition supporter or you are a non-political supporter. You are welcome to join our podium today, and then we can discuss. Our second agenda is about, as we all know, that a couple of days ago, National Secretary has arrested the former caretaker governor of Northern Barkazal, Kuir. So he was arrested, and some of the other people have been arrested as well. So we have some of the South Sudanese in diaspora, which is our opposition. So they are calling for uprising, for the civilian uprising in South Sudan, so that they can overthrow President Kiir government. The question for tonight, for those Sudanese who are calling the uprising. So what is the definition? What did we learn from those, instead from Arab Spring to Northern Sudan? We know, let me talk about Northern Sudan. When Northern Sudan have that, the civilian went out for the big, huge number, and they overthrow President Umar al-Bashir. So what happened now? What's going on in Northern Sudan? Can we learn? Is it Northern Sudan is stable? Is it there is a peace there? Or there is a violence? Or there is a it's better than before when the Umar Bashir was in power? So my question here today, for those of South Sudanese who are in diaspora, calling for the uprising in the country South Sudan, those South Sudanese who live in the diaspora, they are not inside South Sudan. They are calling for uprising in the country while they are not inside in the South Sudan. So what telling you, our fellow South Sudanese, these individuals, they are living their life in Western country. They are enjoying their life in Western country, but they are calling Kiir must go. They're calling civilian, innocent civilian, don't know what's going on, calling them put their life in danger. So go on the street. And also, too, do you know how many will die if you put this innocent civilian in on the street to go uprising. And we learned this from our Arab Spring. During Arab Spring, let's go to Yemen. How's the Yemen now? Yemen is not a stable country. Let's go to Libya. How is the Libya now? Muammar Gaddafi is gone. How the people are now in Libya? So the question for you, South Sudanese, my fellow South Sudanese, whether you are a opposition, you dislike the President Salva Kiir Mayardit, the solution is not that to remove the president by force. So ask yourself, this individual, since the war began in 2013, up to now, how many people die? The same people now you are calling out for uprising. Even you are not in South Sudan. You never go, seeing you left South Sudan, you never go back home to visit home how the life was there. I came back to South Sudan 2 months ago. I'm talking to you, my experience. I don't talk to people on the phone. I was on the ground. I visit. I was in Juba. I went to villages. So, and for those of you who are living in the United States, Australia, Canada, calling the uprising, you don't even know how people, their daily life in South Sudanese. I was there. I spent many time, 3 months. The life over there is not. So for those of you, I condemn you. If you are one of those people who are calling uprising in South Sudan, join me in this platform. So I take a lot. So this is the explanation for our show for today. So I will stop here. For those of you, welcome to Lake State Media and my brother Agar and Isaac. So please start from here, Peter. My brother Peter, welcome to Lake State Media. This is a discussion we open to everybody. So thank you guys for listening. That's the opening. What is our topic for today? We have 2 topics and we have to talk about it. Whether we will disagree. Yes, I know we will disagree. Some of you there watching now, they disagree. Oh, look at me. Look at me. Is a diehard President Salva Kiir Mayardit. But you don't know, guys. You don't know. Yes, I'm a SPLM supporter. That's my party. Even though we disagree sometimes that our party is not doing well, still, some of you are living in the United States here. We have Republican Party, we have Democrat Party. Let me give you an example. My poster dad here in the United States, he's a Republican, and I'm a Democrat. We always have a hard debate. When former President Trump was the president, he was supporting President Trump, and I was against President Trump. We would debate so hard, you know. So, but at the end of the day, we come as a family, and we'll see what is right. So my message to my South Sudanese fellows, South Sudanese who are in diaspora, please eat your McDonald's or pizza, but don't put other people back home who are suffering. They eat 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day, they eat a day. And these innocent people, you want to put their life in danger. Come on, guys. I'm talking to you as a person. I've been there. Every year I go back home and I see how the people are suffering. And you won't add another suffering in this, what's going on right now. So you guys calling for uprising, and you learn from other countries what happened. So you don't need to do that again to come to South Sudan. As now you see, the government is functioning. There are yesterday they were swearing in 500 parliament, 503. The government is going on, but you guys now you are in the middle of peace is in the country. Now you are supporting another violence coming out in South Sudan. What do you guys want actually? Can you ask yourself what you want? You want South Sudan to be in chaos? To be a country that lawless, people killing each other now, day and night? That's what you want? So I stop here, my people. That's a brainstorm on our
thank you, brother.
So welcome. Yes, go ahead, Sadat.
Thank you so much. But it's not up to us anyway, so we will leave that one for South Sudanese publicly. It's their opinion. Whatever they like, whatever they want, they will come up and let us know. And the parties are parties over there, so we will stick with our topic, guys. Come on up. Brother Peter Biliu, welcome again to Lagos State Media, and the chance will be yours. Those who are there, Brother Johnny Loki, the topic of today will be in just only 2 languages, English and Arabic. So it will not change until the end of the program. Thank you. Peter, further. Wait. Yep, go on, brother.
Yes. Yeah, and keep your me at the pen binder. Jam do jam tamam. Ko brother come on jam before me. Brother jam do jam pay the pay. You know, I don't see any reason why we should create more chaos. We have enough chaos in South Sudan. What we need healings and completely peace, where we could embrace unity and start to move South Sudan forward. You know, South Sudan problem is a very complicated. I have seen what you guys have written, and you say Iran Commander Gatwech Dual has removed Riek Machar, and that's true. It is something that has happened. Simon Gatwech Dual is in charge of SPLM IO forces, and is now commander-in-chief. Iran Gatwech Machar attend Juba with his in-laws, and the army is left with the chief of staff. So the most complicated, the vice president is there without army, just with his in-laws and his relatives and his wife. Now you have the chief of staff of the IO, the largest opposition with all these massive troops. That is not a part of the peace deal. This is exactly what we should be focusing on. I don't think it's not the right time to organize demonstration. What we should be doing as the diaspora, urging President Kiir to remove Riek Machar, lock him in prison, because I think that's a part of Riek Machar, I think, but how is it? So then the government of South Sudan should deal with General Simon Gatwech Dual. Bring him in, let us implement security agreement with whatever remaining months that left. Then by 2013, we'll have an election where we as citizens of South Sudan will choose who is going to run the country. I don't even want to give them it was started, the half of it was started by Riek, and let it stay there. We will have election in 2000. The good thing, Simon Gatwech Dual wants peace. He does not want to fight. We want Riek out. Then let Simon Gatwech Dual come in. He and Salva Kiir let them finish this period until 2023. We'll have election. And then from there, we'll tell Uncle Kiir Mayardit, he in Lopana Wanishan. Then we can bring a new leader. I want the change to come through ballot box, not through coup. Riek Machar had planned coup in 2013, but the government of South Sudan has failed. Because one of the reasons why they failed was there were a group of G10 that want to do change through, political pressure. Then both of them were combined together, and the government of South Sudan said they made a coup. But it was Riek himself who had planned a coup. Had they choose only Riek, leaving group of G10 the government would have a chance successfully, making that case. Because Riek has planned a coup, he and himself, without even that, I think he and his wife and all his in-laws, without group of G10. I can to correct the mistake. Nashil Zol coronavirus Canada, Nashil Bara. Najib Simon Garwidol, Namal Salam, Nakhalas period da, Laman Yakun 2023. Nana as Shab al Jinubi. Najib, whoever we want. In brother, if you want to run for president, you have a Raja, citizen of South Sudan, to contest. You see, they are all right, Bitana. Let us implement Salamda. If we implement it, let's give Salva Kiir 2 years. Let him implement peace. By 2020, in the Gula Uncle Mayadi, in Bilapana Wanachan. Daman Utaka Chito. Or I'm Kiago Tivede. Now I've been able to, election with the new leadership. We are going to get Kubarata. Anakuna Yamer, Dakorium. Other than Kitty of a man. You see? Chip Yamer, Dakorium. Yeah, 50. That we are not kidding anymore. Another one we have, you see. So when a good uncle Kirmayar in Kilon Pelloy, you have done your part. I'm here got I need by enough. Then the Shabab, we will move South Sudan forward. Yeah, Jama, something simple. When I am keep you me at the pay, Kanong Kennedy General Simon Garway to Louis at yet. And luck but Junub, I have said many times that Riek Machar. While I ran Chol Kirmaya did run the he might not have some skill. And luck but Junub, they have the Machar. But the other rock but the Junub. If we put them aside, Najib General Simon Garwidwell, who and President Kiir let them implement Salam. By 2023, Nana at Junubi, this is what we need. Demonstration, you don't even know what will be the outcome of demonstration. And keep you me and Riek Machar as a Bijal, where I'm Chol Simon Garwidwell Gwen, based on Anjolo. Lana Simon Garwidwell is in charge of SPLM IO force. As long as Kiben Juba, all these forces will come. And then peace is implemented. I agree with you, my brother. None of my can see Jana Jinubitani mode. We don't even want that. We tell him could the Chaitana be Sijan. If Lena Simon Garwidwell, let us implement the law or Bible twin. But that's what I can have, brother. So
thank you, brother. I have a question for you.
Yes.
So you're saying that what I'm hearing right, if am I correct? You said that
yes.
you like Dr. Riek Machar to be put in jail.
Yes.
And Garwidwell can come in.
Yes.
So my question to you, I understand that you are supporting Peter Garwidwell. My question to you, is it Peter Garwidwell is same with Dr. Riek Machar?
Well,
so why are you supporting? My question, let me a little bit. Why are you supporting Peter Garwidwell? I mean Simon Garwidwell more than Dr. Riek Machar?
Yes. If you heard me from the last time when I was in Lake Media Show, I called Riek Machar as coronavirus 91 and coronavirus 2013. Enga big coronavirus your support. I don't support him. I define him as the coronavirus of South Sudan. Simple. I have never been a fan of him.
Okay.
Second, staff.
Abraham.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Abraham. Yeah, there's one thing that I heard from him saying when they were in the war with the Gatwech, his general chief of staff, they were fighting for what he meant for his movement. But when he has been given to sign the peace and he joined the government, he left the general chief of staff with the army behind, and those who appear in the office with him in the government to join that peace they have signed in Khartoum, they were not heard before, and there are lives lost. So the soldiers left with General Gatwech, Simon Gatwech. They are asking. There is a question, and he has no answers for it. Their commander-in-chief has abandoned them. It has no communication, and it's no payment, and all the promises of they have committed their life, they are not fulfilled. All these things, they are accountable. I'm quite sure, I'm clear is that what he has meant before in his statement. I need to add that one in. That's why he took over.
Well, yes, I think you said it correctly. Let me close this point. You know, as you said, brother, Riek Machar abandoned SPLM as abandoned SPLM-IO. He went to Juba with his in-laws. If you have to check all those ministers, they have a connection with his family. If you are not from his in-laws, you don't even have a chance. You see, Minister of Health, his son-in-law, mother-in-law. So you have to be, from that family circle in order for you to get into a ministerial position. Riek has turned SPLM-IO into his own property. You have to be these in-laws, son-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, brother-in-laws, or mother-in-law in order to get position. That was not what SPLM-IO was fighting for. Now, the whole SPLM-IO leadership realized Riek Machar went to Juba, abandoned SPLM forces. He went with his in-laws. Now they embraced Simon Gatwech Dual as their leader. They had a meeting yesterday, appointed Simon Gatwech Dual as the interim chairman and commander-in-chief of the SPLM-IO. Riek Machar now he belongs to Kir Mayar, would be up to Kir Mayar. Whatever whether Kir Mayar want to appoint Riek Machar as the ambassador, it will be between Kir Mayar. I am appealing to President Kir Mayar, if you want peace, lock Riek Machar out or just deal with Simon Gatwech Dual. So Riek Machar has no support from the army of SPLM-IO. I don't support those who want to make demonstrations. I really don't support that. I want President Kir to implement that peace, that General Gatwech Dual come in, let us implement peace, and then from there, just only send a 2 years left.
But Dr. Riek Machar and President
election.
Dr. Riek Machar and President.
Excuse me, brother. Welcome to Lagos State Media, and Billy Luke, welcome to Lagos State Media. Go ahead from there, Brother Madid, and make sure that the people who are waiting here too.
Oh, okay, yeah, let me cut it short. Because I want to put in this question. How Dr. Riek Machar is parliamentary defeat with President Kir? Did he one left? Okay, okay, he leaves, so probably he will be back. So give a chance to other. Oh, you back, Peter?
Yes, okay. I'm listening. I'm listening. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, my question to you said that. Okay, how can it help this situation if Dr. Riek Machar be locked up?
Well, what I'm saying, Riek Machar is no longer the chairman of SPLM-IO. He has abandoned SPLM-IO. SPLM-IO have a new leader, Simon Gatwech Dual. He is the chairman and commander-in-chief of the SPLM-IO. President Kir is the president of the Republic of South Sudan. It will be up to him whether he want to, appoint Riek Machar somewhere. The president have that authority. But when it comes to by president position given to SPLM-IO, Riek should not even have that position anymore. The government need to deal with Simon Garwidwal as the head of the army if they want to implement peace. Simple thing, if the government doesn't want to deal with the SPLM IO chairman, Commander-in-Chief Simon Garwidwal, there will be war. And that's it. Now he doesn't even want to fight with the government. If government doesn't want to listen to him, the war will be waged. Simple. If I were President Kiir, I would give Riek a different assignment, and I would deal with Garwidwal, bring Garwidwal in with all the forces, we implement peace, and then we move South Sudan forward.
Yeah, sorry, sorry to cut you and sorry to come in before Ruben Manyang murder and my brother Billy Luke. Welcome again to Lagos State Media, guys. This is a very terrific topic, and we all need some really to look into it critically. Analysis. Hello, Manyang. I just drop in one word here, or just a little analysis that about General Simon Gatwech, and that is why sometimes you see Salva Kiir is really trying to rescue or to bring everybody on board. Number one, that's why he has all these 5 vice presidents. He's trying to bring peace. Also, when he realized Dr. Riek Machar has abandoned those who had fought with and became and make his own circle to come in the government, Kiir Simon Gatwech as a special advisor to come with him. He's trying to bring peace, such that if Gatwech he got a position and bring in the forces that are abandoned by Riek Machar, this another way.
Let me take this call. Yes.
That's another way of the peace. But he declined. Gatwech has declined the appointment that the president has given to him. I don't know which post he is really aiming. It is up to him, and it is up to the supporters of Simon Gatwech. Now, I will go to my brother. Yes, he is on the phone. Manyang Madur, Fadal, you came first before my brother Billy Luke. Just drop in your opinion analysis of this breaking news. We are talking about 2 things. You have been here before and you learned about the defection or how do we call this? Gatwech Dual has announced of taking over IO and also the uprising calls in South Sudan. These are the 2 things that we are talking about.
Okay. First of all, greeting to all the viewers. I greet you all, and secondly, I greet my brother who have just spoken earlier, and my brother Billy Luke. This is I'm going to be very brief because I'm actually heading to work, and I have 1 hour to go to work remaining. One mistake we should not do again as South Sudanese is to create mess within the mess. History goes by in 1991 when Dr. Riek break away from the SPLM. He formed what he called the United SPLA, Nasser faction. Later on, they disagree with Dr. Lamakol, and they all went separate. Dr. Riek seized the opportunity to form another, what he called, I call it restorations of Anyanya, one concept of calling the SIM, the South Sudan Independent Movement. And then he went and signed peace in Khartoum. They all disagree also. Dr. Riek formed South Sudan Democratic Front, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, from Sudan People Democratic Front. Yeah.
Democratic Front.
Yep.
Dr. Riek was abandoned in all his rebellions activities in all those political parties he formed. He has never been successful. And then he joined
again in 2002, I was one of the people who went to ICC. When he signed peace with the when the SPLM was reunited in Kenya. I was in Kenya at the time. That happened between 4th of January to 6th of January 2002. Then coming to the mess, I'm just giving those details as background of who Dr. Riek Machar is and what he has been doing all along. In 2013, when he started war, that is not a story that I should go back to it. We all know the genesis of the war was a political party issues. It is about SPLM leadership who want to be the chairman, all of them. They all have to be blamed for that. No one should take a particular blame. Well, when it comes to the issue of Simon Gatwech Dual, now we have learned in 2016, after J1 fighting, when Dr. Riek Machar was a vice president, and then the fighting broke out in Juba. Who engineered the war is not part of our analysis tonight. And Riek Machar left for Congo, and then he was locked up in South Africa. Taban Denga emerged as the first vice president. It took over a year or two for they got an international partners in peace. To convince Salva Kiir to reinstate Dr. Riek Machar. Look, let's be mindful. It's not up to an individual to come out and say that Gatwech Dual is the alternative. No, it is too early for us to predict that. Gatwech Dual may be an alternative to some, but it might not be an alternative to some others within the rank and the file of the SPLM-IO. Let's be honest. Riek Machar is in Juba, is implementing peace agreement. Then individuals are bitter because of a few appointments that Dr. Riek made within his own camp. This including the appointment of his wife being the Minister of Defense, and people like General Gatwech Dual felt that they were betrayed and they were used. People like General Kong Chol, people that we also, that were supposed to be one of the two, should have actually been appointed Minister of Defense. I think this is the genesis of the crisis. This is where the leadership tension begin within the ranks of the SPLM-IO. Then, now, I don't know what is happening within the IO, since I don't know much about it. And the appointment of Port Kang also, who is alleged to be the son-in-law of Dr. Riek, but in actual fact is not. Port Kang is actually engaged to a daughter of a former governor of Upper Nile at the time in Northern Sudan, or in the whole Sudan, and that is Galwak Ding Guy. If I'm not wrong, the girl is not a daughter of Riek Machar, as alleged. South Sudan need to be somehow. We need to.
You're wrong, brother. You're not correct on that.
Okay. If you are if you have those details, of course, then we leave it there. I will leave it up to you. But as far as the information is concerned, I know Port Kang is not the son-in-law of Dr. Riek, unless Dr. Riek have actually committed an adultery with the wife of former governor. Then I will not deny the fact. The truth of the matter is that the girl is a daughter of Galwak Guy, Ding Guy, the former governor of Upper Nile region, for that matter. So our analysis here,
for me personally, I'm one of those who don't want to rush. I can say that President Kiir should not make mistake because we have an agreement in place. And this political tactic of our brothers in Afro Nile region need to come to an end, whereby there is this faction here and there, these factions break out within the faction in order to have, for a particular group to at least climb into the leadership, using that as a concessions for negotiations and give room for them to be able to participate in the government. This Salva Kiir need to stand firm and remain committed to the current compromise peace agreement. Gatwech Dual and his group, they are calling for a separation of Upper Nile region. So it is our responsibility as South Sudanese to fight the separatists, the proclaimed separatists, or the either implement peace in letter and spirit. Gatwech Dual I will give other people a chance at least to come in and comment. Gatwech Dual is not an alternative in my humble opinion. Is not an alternative to the peace because Gatwech Dual does not commend messages in Upper Nile and in particular in Nuer community. As far as I'm concerned, I know Riek Machar, despite up and down politics, Riek Machar is more of a paramount chief to Nuer community. You see, a majority of Nuer believe in him. And as far as he's implementing peace agreement, I would urge actually Dr. Riek to sack his wife and give General Gatwech Dual a chance to take over the Ministry of Defense. I think that is the only alternative. His recent appointment that he declined, he was appointed peace advisor to the president, which does not have any differences with being a minister in government. But most generals, people like Gatwech Dual, people like General Kong Chol, plus several other generals, felt that they were used, betrayed, and dumped because a wife of Dr. Riek Machar, who is not even a soldier, was appointed to the Ministry of Defense, make her the more senior than those commanders who were actually fighting, the field commanders who were engineering war and strategically planned for a military offensive against the government. So I will stop here, and if there is any question, I'll be happy to take any questions concerning what is. There was a comment. What was the other issue? What was the second analysis again, my brother Isaac?
Uprising. Public uprising, they call now in diaspora and people who want to overthrow the government currently.
All right. I always say that if Dr. Riek Machar was not successful in overthrowing Salva Kiir regime, I don't think we have anybody else in South Sudan that is more powerful in terms of numbers that can overthrow the regime of Salva Kiir. If anybody want to overthrow, you don't overthrow a regime from diaspora. Like you and I, we are sitting here in diaspora. Yes, we can actually weaken government through media. We have most of us, especially the rebel, have done that. But to overthrow the government, I don't think is not necessary. As far as I know, it's just like a dream that will never become a reality. So whoever is mobilizing people in abroad is just let them demonstrate wherever they want. But the truth of the matter is that Salva Kiir will only be removed through ballots, but not bullets. So I think that's where I will end my
my input.
Thank you so much, Robin. That's a good analysis. Billy Luke, welcome, my brother. Unmute yourself and drop in.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, we can hear you, Billy Luke.
All right. Thank you very much. Lagos State Media. I would like to take the first opportunity to acknowledge Isaac Teng and Madid Majak, and I think Agarmabok is there, right? Or he left. I want to say thank you very much for hosting us today. It has been quite some time without coming to Lagos State Media so that we can continue to analyze our South Sudanese issues back home and here in diaspora. So let's resume our studio as usual, and we have to continue to discuss our issues as South Sudanese. This is how we can be able to find solutions. Second to that, I would like to recognize my comrade, Brother Manyang Mador. Thank you very much for being here with us on the forum. I would also like to recognize Comrade Peter Blue. I guess he's coming back, right? Or he gone for good? Yes. Without wasting time, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the viewers, thank you also for being here with us, and we request you to share the video. And we are here to challenge all of you as South Sudanese, irrespective of your political affiliation, region, or tribe. We also challenge you to come forward and join us in this conversation, because these issues need all of us to have a say in it, to come and express yourself here however you wish or desire. And this is how we can be able to find a common ground on how we can forge a way forward as South Sudanese. So my first reaction is going to analyze the internal political wrangling among the SPLA, SPLM, IO, rank and file in the military and political wing. I think for us as a pro mainstream SPLM, I think it is not a big deal for us to go deeply into analysis of what actually led to the fragmentation of the SPLA, SPLM-IO. But I would like to give you a hint a little bit before I give you my analysis, because there is something that concerns all about the South Sudanese to have a say in the leadership wrangling among the SPLM, SPLA members. And that is a concern to all of us South Sudanese. And first of all, before I say something, I would like to say thank you very much, Manyang Mador, for the wonderful insight and analysis that you have just issued. That is exactly what I was about to say. And to add to your point, I would like to say that the fragmentation or the polarization among the SPLA, SPLM, IO, rank and file, and members came about as a result of the formation of the government, of the national unity government. When Dr. Riek Machar appointed some of the close members into the ministerial force, that is when the clashes begin among the members of the SPLM, SPLA-IO, because the appointment of the ministerial force was not actually fair, according to all of our analysis or observation as a South Sudanese. Dr. Riek Machar was not actually being fair to the members of the military rank by appointing some members that were not actually qualified to be appointed to those respective ministerial posts or positions. So I believe I give them a benefit of doubt as SPLA, SPLM, IO members for their complaint to what Dr. Riek Machar for mismanaging the leadership of the SPLA, SPLM, IO. He was not actually being paid, and that's why he was actually being accused of nepotism, accused of turning the SPLA, SPLM, IO leadership into a family enterprise. So that is where the crisis begins, ladies and gentlemen. And now given the rampant defection of the SPLA, SPLM, IO members, it came as a result of the disappointment caused by Dr. Riek Machar as a result of appointing those ministerial forces to respective family members. So Jim is Kong Chuaranle defected because he was not happy with the appointment. The same thing applied to General Garwidwal and the rest of the people like Honorable Dweretut, who are now spearheading or masterminding the fragmentation of the SPLA, SPLM-IO into miniaturized factions. So this came as a result of that. So in my conclusion, when I look at it, the issues among the SPLA, SPLM-IO members has nothing to do with the failure of the National Unity Government to implement the revitalized peace agreement protocol as they make excuses. I know that is a political strategy being used, but that is not the motive behind the real argument. Has something to do with the disappointment or dissatisfaction caused by Dr. Riek Machar as a result of appointing his family members into the respective ministerial portfolio. So the truth has to be said. So that means the argument being presented by General Garwidwal and by James Kong Chuaranle and by Honorable Dweretut has nothing to do with the failure of the implementation of what they alleged as a lack of security arrangement not being implemented. If it was the issue of security arrangement, I don't think a senior leader or commander-in-chief of the SPLA-IO, SPLM-IO leadership shouldn't be serving Juba. So people should be realistic in telling the truth that security for the leadership of the SPLA-IO is intact, and that is why Dr. Riek Machar has never appeared in any difficulty in Juba. So this is just a political accuse to smear Dr. Riek Machar, and that was a political tactic being used to boycott coming to Juba to be part of the government, simply because they were denied the ministerial forces by Dr. Riek Machar. So that means their issues have nothing to do with the national agenda. Therefore, this group that defected from Dr. Riek Machar do not deserve. This group that defected and joined General Garwidwal and those who actually defected from Dr. Riek Machar to the government side do not deserve to be recognized as people who were actually fighting for a national agenda. Matter of fact, they were actually fighting for selfish interest. That means they were actually going after individual interests, not a national issue. So the same thing applied to to General Garwidwal and all other high-ranking military officers, including those of General Johnson Ulony, General Mabordol. So these are the motive. Because they are not happy with Dr. Riek Machar because of the disappointment caused by the ministerial force allocation to family members of Dr. Riek Machar. And coming to us as South Sudanese, our main concern is about peace and stability, because we want to see this revitalized peace agreement implemented to the letter. And so, as South Sudanese, we should actually support the group that is now part of the National Unity Government, which is now led by Dr. Riek Machar, should actually deserve to be supported, because he's actually part of the peace and stability of the country. That means he's actually in the unity government to implement the revitalized peace agreement. And that is the good spirit. Is for peace. In addition to that, Dr. Riek Machar is a signatory to the revitalized peace agreement, and therefore we should consider him as the legitimate leader of the SPLA-IO, despite the fact that General Garwidwal has actually defected with vast majority of the members of the SPLA-IO. We can still recognize Dr. Riek Machar as the legitimate peace partner, and he deserves to be supported by the National Unity Government. The current government in Juba right now, as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, is not Salva Kiir Mayardit government. It is a government, it is a national unity government. That means it is a government that is composed of the incumbent government under Salva Kiir Mayardit and the opposition. And it is not only the opposition of Dr. Riek Machar. There are other opposition parties involved. So all of them are signatories to the peace agreement, to the revitalized peace agreement. Therefore, for us as South Sudanese, we should all come together collectively and support peace and stability. Therefore, I'm here to declare to all of you as South Sudanese that it is something that is incumbent upon us to uphold the peace agreement by supporting any peace partner. And that means the group of Dr. Riek Machar deserves to be supported because he's actually is part of the unity government that is now implementing the peace agreement. So I think the unity government, which is the peace partners under this revitalized peace agreement, they should come together and deal with those who are actually outside the peace agreement and deal with them because they're not part of the peace agreement and they are refusing to be part of the agreement. So that means they are against peace and the stability of our country. So we should pose a question as South Sudanese collectively to the national unity government. What should you do about those who are refusing to be part of the peace agreement? I think that is the work of the government. When somebody violates the constitution, the territorial integrity of the country, somebody who is actually going against the peace, what do you do with that person? You know how to deal with it. We don't have to tell you, you have to do this and do that. You know how you deal with criminals. So anyone that is against the peace means he's for war. It was just a month ago when Gatwech Dual was appointed as a presidential advisor. It was another way to appease him to join the government, to be part of the peace agreement. Gatwech Dual declined to take that position. And what did that mean? What is the motive behind that declination of Gatwech Dual? It means war. That means he chooses war instead of peace. The same thing applies to the group of Gerald Thomas Cirillo. He refused to be part of the peace agreement. So these rebels are still hanging out there. They are not part of the national unity government. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I'm appealing to you as an individual, as a citizen of South Sudan, that we must support peace and stability of our country and put this peace agreement to be implemented to the letter. That is where, when you will be able to be given the opportunity or chance to actually exercise your democratic and constitutional right through the ballot box, as my brother, Comrade Manyangmador, put it earlier, that if you are, we understand you are frustrated and you are disappointed, you want to see this government change. That means you are actually talking about the unity government. You're not talking about self-care. So all of you want this government, including the opposition, being removed, and then somebody else will replace it. This is not going to happen because the current peace agreement, which is undergoing implementation, is being supported by the regional government. It's being supported by the international community. It's being supported by the international observers, the regional observers, regional grantors of this peace agreement. Therefore, if I were part of the national unity government as a leader, I should actually challenge the 5 presidential vice presidents, including Salva Kiir Mayari, to sit down and do something about those rebel groups that are outside the country. What should be done about them? Because they are actually provoking war. They are provoking war. And you should know how to deal with people who do not want peace. I'm not sure if you want to discard another peace while the other piece is undergoing implementation. It doesn't make any sense. This is like a too-many cook, too-many cook can actually spoil the broil. And this is exactly what is happening in South Sudan. We cannot continue to entertain this. We cannot continue to entertain and appease violence after violence. This is not going to work. So my appeal is that I understand your frustration as South Sudanese. You want this regime to be removed, as you call it a regime. But now it is a legitimate government that is now composed of opposition and the incumbent government of Salva Kiir Mayardit. Therefore, this is no longer Salva Kiir Mayardit. This is the government of all South Sudanese, because majority of you are opposition, and you are being represented by the respective opposition parties. who are now part of this unity government. Therefore, you need to be responsible. You need to be a moral and decent citizen that must support peace and stability. So to support peace and stability, that's why we have to say, even though we are, we do not agree politically, we should actually support Dr. Riek Machar because he's actually committed to implement this peace agreement. I believe Dr. Riek Machar have supporters, despite the fact that that majority defected with Gerald Gatwech Dual and Gerald Johnson Willing. So let's support whoever is part of the peace. And let's deal against those who do not want to be part of the peace agreement. That is why we are calling for a unity of South Sudanese who are for peace and stability, that we need to deal with those who are not part of the peace agreement. Because we are sick and tired. We don't want more war. We want this peace agreement to be implemented, and it is only through general election that you will be able to bring about a change. That's when you will actually exercise your democratic right and elect whoever you want to be a president of South Sudan. So let's give that opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we want to see happen. So I think I'm done on that. The second topic that I would also like to put in my input is the fact that there are some opposition that are calling for a popular uprising. And these people who call themselves people, they call themselves people action, people civil action, or whatever that is.
People action, yeah.
Yes, for action. So this group, ladies and gentlemen, they are actually the mouthpiece of these people that are against the peace agreement, the current peace agreement undergoing implementation. So there could be some of them that are pro Gerald Gatwech Dual, some of them are pro Gerald Johnson Willing, some of them are pro Gerald Thomas Cirillo, and some of them could be pro General Paul Malong Awan, and all the other military officers that are actually advocating for war out there against the current peace agreement. So that's what I know so far, according to the sources of the anonymous intelligence information that has been compiled so far. So it is very clear. The very same group are the one speaking on behalf of this respective opposition, and they have formed a confidential alliance. A confidential alliance. Even they are going to launch a military offensive that is going to be sporadic all across the country. And it is going to remove this national unity government. I don't think you are going to like it, South Sudanese. You will be the one to decry a fool later on and say, okay, why are we fighting? And you are going to blame the very same government when they respond in kind, violently. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm feeling is that this group that are calling for popular uprising is similar to violent removal of the government, to illegal or unlawful removal of the government. And this is going to be similar to what happened in Libya. Because when you fight against the government and there are other opposition outside waiting, I don't know who is actually going to take over. So you are looking for a Somalization of South Sudan, which is not a good idea. You are looking for the Rwandanization of South Sudan, which is not a good idea. It is going to be very ugly when we look at the this dynamic situation. In case there is going to be a violence, a popular uprising going on inside the town in South Sudan, and there are rebels waiting to launch military offensive outside the country. Can you imagine the circumstances that may arise? Should popular uprising be triggered inside South Sudan? This is going to be very devastating, and we should not encourage this, ladies and gentlemen. So, as Billy look, I'm strongly against anyone that is calling for a popular uprising. That means you are actually being disobedient and disturbing to the peace agreement. And that is unlawful, it is unconstitutional, it should be considered an act of insurrection, and it should be, those who are doing this should be considered as traitors. And I know so far, the very same people that are now advocating on social media are the ones that are implicating some of the civil servants that are working inside South Sudan. Some of them are now under detention. Some of them are now on the run because of this mouthpiece on social media. I know most of you are loud and clear on social media calling for the removal of the unity government because you are not on the ground. So you are set here in North America or in Australia, in Europe, or wherever you may be across Africa. You are set. I wish you should be on the ground so that you should actually lead this popular uprising that you are calling for. So, ladies and gentlemen, calling for a popular uprising is similar to the military aggression that is being waged by the other military generals that are waiting to launch a military offensive. So there is something being coordinated. So imagine that. So I'm here to advise you, if you are listening from South Sudan, please do not be part of that popular uprising because this is very dangerous to you. There are rebel groups that are waiting around those towns in South Sudan, are waiting to launch a military offensive. So they want to see the civilian go to the street, and once they enter the street, launching this popular uprising, they will actually launch simultaneously military offensive. And that is going to be very deadly. So imagine this dynamic situation. This is not going to be safe for you. It's not going to be safe for our innocent civilian on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm feeling for. I'm for peace and stability. I understand your frustration and disappointment, but the only way to satisfy your democratic right and constitutional privilege is to exercise your freedom of electing a leader through a ballot box. That is the only way. So let's give this peace agreement a chance. And if these leaders fail later on to actually implement the peace agreement to the letter, that's when you will actually talk about this. And there will be another peace agreement if it is actually going to be violated. But I know so far the regional government and the international community are actually observing. And they are actually behind this unity government of South Sudan. They are strongly behind it. So anyone that is going to wage another military offensive against the government that is recognized by the international community and the regional government, I think you will be considered a traitor and you should be dealt according to the Constitution. Thank you very much. I think I have spoken too much. Let me hear from other people with different opinions. Thank you very much.
Can I quickly comment?
You will come, brother Manyang. You will come, Ruben. Let's welcome our brother, Dr. Dolarjin. You are highly welcome to Lagos State Media, and you have heard the topic already. So let Manyang drop in his 1 second, and then you will come after Dr. Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Manyang.
All right. Thank you. Once again, my colleague, Billy Luke, has actually give much details in relations to this particular topic and the other issue to do with the popular uprising. You know, everyone wants to be a winner. And those who always win are those who read the situation and seize the opportunity to take that situation. I mean, when you look at in 1970s, when Addis Ababa Peace Agreement, we all read in the book, or we are reading in the books today, there were a group of South Sudanese who disagree or they were dissatisfied with the peace agreement signed by those of Joseph Lago and then the vice president of the Sudan, Maulana Bilalier. A group that is now known as a Nyanya 2. I think if you look at the history, those of Anyanya 2 continue to define. They were fighting the government, trying to sabotage. 11 years later, when the SPLA when we took up arms in 1983, those of Anyanya 2 were found in the bushes of South Sudan, and they have never been successful. If you look into that,
in comparisons to what is now happening with those of Gatwech Dual, I think they should learn from that lesson, the fact that Gatwech Dual knows the history and he goes, I mean, he knows the very details of what had happened. The fact that being a part of the SPLA, and by then, before that, he was a part of the Anyanya 1 or Anyanya 2. So that's why I'm commenting, that's why I'm saying those who always seize the opportunity are the winners. In this regards, in relations to their resistance or their declarations that they are going to wage war, this government of Salva Kiir is recognized, as my brother, my colleague, Billy Luke rightly put it, that this government have a backing of international community. They are no longer going to fight a government of South Sudan, the government of national unity, a government of parties. Several political parties are integrated through peace agreements. So with my brother who had actually spoken earlier, saying that Gatwech Dual is the alternative, what he is telling us is that let Salva Kiir abandon Dr. Riek, the one who is willing to implement the current peace agreement, of which he is a signatory to that. And then we rush back to Addis Ababa once again to renegotiate a new peace or a new roadmap to a new peace agreement. I think that is, it will not work.
That's his
as far as I
strategy.
know.
Yep.
And that is what I want to add into it. It will not work. And the South Sudanese are sick and tired of war. Now we are going to fight renegade generals who have declared war against the government. Or otherwise, if those of Gatwech Dual want to be the winners, then they should really join peace agreements and implement the current peace agreement. Whoever want to contest for presidency by come 2023 should register his own political party and then contest peacefully, not violently. So the slogan of saying that a violent dictator must be removed violently is no longer working in the 21st century, and it will never work in our case as far as the South Sudanese people are concerned. And the international community is also much aware of what is happening in South Sudan. So my brothers and sisters, that's what I want to add. The only solution now to the current peace agreement, the only one who is in alternative to the current peace agreement is none other than Dr. Riek Machar, who is already the first vice president of the country. So I will end from here, and I am going to work, my dear brothers, but I will just follow you. I will hear from DR Largin, and then I will lock out from there to give other people a chance to come on board. Thank you.
Thank you, brother Ruben Manyang Madur Coach. The chant now is going to our brother DR Largin. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Agar Deng, and then Madid, Billy, Luke, and Robin. I just want to say hi to the South Sudanese who are listening from online. My name is Dalarjin, leader of the UPSS, Union Party of South Sudan. You know, quickly, it was not a surprise because I have been following this. And I know the breaking news that you found out from Gatwech Dual. I think is if we look at it from different angle, I think all in all is a great move, because Gatwech Dual, it looked like is saving some of the troops that are actually left out by Riek Machar. So I think that is what it means is that he is actually he found himself with around general that feel like they don't want to go to Juba, and they feel like they are left out. They don't have a leader. So I think it's just a matter of negotiating and electing a leader, because this is a group that is fighting for a different cause
And that's what you South Sudanese fail actually to look at or to see, is that those groups that now install Gatwech as a new chairman in the bush or a new rebel leader, is these are the group that actually they believe that the issue of South Sudan has never been addressed. And that's what I wanted to put to your attention, the people of South Sudan, that the issue, the main issue of South Sudan has never been addressed. And by this, it will be a cycle of a lot of rebellion. It will repeat, it will make it repeat. If we look at what is this main issue that is not addressed, this is what I call the tribalism. The tribalism is the one that causing the tribal war. And if you look at the breaking out of 1983, if I have to take you to our history, because they say history repeat itself sometime over and over. And those who don't know, they think it's a new thing. Those who know, they just know, oh, this is what is repeating itself from the past. If you look at the war that broke out in Bielfarm, okay, it took like two different ways. Some people look at it like a tribal war between the Nuer and the Denka in Bielfarm. Some think that it was over the leadership. But those who thought it was over the leadership, they end up addressing the wrong thing. So they never succeed in addressing the reality. So until 1991, it repeated itself again. And in 1993, when what happened in 1983, the war, most of you do not know, because by that time we were young. With me, when I went working with Paulina Matip and other rebel group that were experiencing the war of Bielfarm, so I learned a lot. So what happened is that the war, what happened in Bielfarm is that the Nuer and the Denka actually fought, and Kerbino Kwany was actually in charge of Bielfarm when Gaitut and some of the Nuer were actually chased out. So Kerbino ended up and killed so many of the innocent Nuer that were left in Bielfarm. That one, South Sudanese, they don't know about that. So actually, most of the innocent Nuer, they were actually, they end up being assassinated, kind of like what happened in 2013 when we left out all the armed group, we left out in Juba. So that one, it happened in 1983, and most of you do not know this. A lot of people here, but I wanted to put it into attention because of this. So this is what happened. Nuer were killed, and the war after the Nuer were killed, those Nuer who were outside rebel, they considered the war to be a tribal war between the Nuer and the Denka, simply because of what Kerbino took the decision of killing any Nuer who was left out in Bielfarm. So that the war was a dimension of a tribal war. They didn't want to address it, so they thought it was a leadership now, Garam war leader, and
brother,
hold on, let me finish here. So
brother,
why?
hang on. Let me direct you to the topic. I want you to bring you back to the topic. We have two topics to discuss, because you are now go back, because our topic is the breaking news about the Simon break away from the fire Riek Machar, and another one is a group of diaspora.
Yeah, I'm coming to that.
Yes, just go to the topic.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. So okay. Why I'm saying this is because why I'm taking you back is because I want you to understand why rebellion is keeping, why people are keeping breaking and so on. So I'm just telling you, Gatwech Dual will not be the last person here. This is a story because the problem is not addressed. Because in 1983 it was not addressed, so it ended up in 1991. It ended up killing many of the Denga board. It was never addressed because people think, oh, this is a SPLA thing. So in 2013, it broke again. So many of the Nuer were killed in Juba. And look at it right now from the Gatwech Dual. What I see, like myself right now, what it reminds me is that when Riek Machar, actually after fighting, and some of you here put it right, after fighting the war of 1991, what they call SIM, and breaking out into so many factions, SPLM United, SIM, SPDF, So what I'm seeing now is that when Riek left all those troops in the bush, he went and joined John Garang, okay, in 2002. So all the rebels that were left out, Paulino Matip organized them. And he organized them and they become a huge force. That is what I'm seeing right now. It's the same thing repeating itself. So I think Gatwech Dual is going to organize now all those rebels because Riek Machar is in now. So he's going to organize them and then they will become a huge force in which even the international community, it will be a threat to peace. Leave about Salva Kiir. Because when Paulino Matip organized all those rebel groups that were left out, all the militia from Equatoria, from Apanal, and from Barghazal, Paulino organized them and they become threat. So unless the international say, okay, these people, if they are not included in the peace agreement, there will be no country for you guys, and there will be no peace agreement between the Sudan government and rebel. So they were later on actually integrated into the peace agreement, and there were talk, but they didn't want agreement until John Garang died. So when John Garang died, Paulino Matip actually accepted the peace agreement, and all the militia that were actually in the bush, they were actually they signed peace agreement in 2006, and I think they all came to Juba with a huge force. So this is what I'm seeing is the same thing. So Gatwech Dual might organize all those troops in Apanal, Barghazal, and Equatoria, those of Chirulo now, so they will find themselves as they will be integrated into a real rebel group, and then they will be threatened. Maybe they will negotiate a peace agreement. But my warning is this: if these people, if these forces just keep saying, "Oh, we need a peace agreement," is a SPLA thing, we want a power hearing, they're not going to achieve nothing. They will end up like exactly like Riek Machar, and the problem keep recurring. So until we realize that this problem really is not about power sharing, and this problem is not about SPLM. The real problem is tribalism that caused so many factions and caused so many rebel groups and caused repeating itself so many years and passing it to generation until we address tribalism. When we address the tribalism,
I have a question for you, Dual. Do you think the breaking away, Simon, another party break away from within IO, is it the tribalism causing it?
Yeah. I think I strongly argue that they believe in their heart, those commanders, even if I have not talked to them, they believe the root cause of the war, which is tribalism, is never addressed by Riek Machar.
I'm not talking about the war about 2013. I'm talking about what is going on right now in IO camp. So let's focus with this topic. We have two topics. Let us focus. The breakaway, Simon, within IO from Dr. Riek Machar, is caused by tribalism?
Yes, exactly. Because, okay, if you look at it, let me explain it. One thing is that those generals that Gatwech Dual is talking to now, those who install him, okay, most of them believe that the war was a tribal line, and they don't agree with the Riek Machar side, okay.
So those generals are from where, right?
Yeah. Secondly, they believe there is even tribalism within the Nuer itself, that it was installed by Riek Machar by dividing people into benefit by favoring his own family and his in circle from maybe the clan. And this is what actually most General Gatwech Dual find out this recently. So that's why now they are breaking out, and I believe it was just the same thing that people, the militia, the so-called South Sudan Defense Force led by Paulino Matip, they were believing that time, because they believed the war that was fighting, the root cause was never addressed. There was a tribal killing and it was never addressed, and they had to until Garang died, because they believe Garang was the one who was actually creating this tribalism. And when Garang died, but it's still because they did not address it. So actually, I think it will be wise for us, we the intellectual, to kind of actually come up and make more questioning, critical research about tribalism, so that we put it on the table to be addressed, instead of asking me, oh, I have to take you to Juba. Gatwech Dual is today, oh, let's go to Juba, we give you position, so and so. But the problem is still in the heart of people, still in the mind of the people. Look at even Denkabur now, they were killed in 1991. It's still up to date. Some of them are in the camp. Leave about the Nuer recently. The killing of the Nuer was just recently. So it's never even gone out. People are remembering the past.
Okay, my next question to you, Dual, because there's another next question is about there are some of the group here in diaspora. They are calling for uprising in South Sudan. Do you think that is a good idea?
Yeah, you know, sometimes changing a bad regime, it involves a lot of things. And for them calling uprising is okay, because it may weaken the regime itself. I'm not saying that they will bring change, but it's a part of that bring change. It will weaken the regime to the extent maybe some of those who are supporting will check and will question, oh, this is a bad regime. Some commanders who have now very strong supporting the regime may defect. Some of them may support the rally. And usually, it can also bring change as part of.
So are you a part of those groups? Are you a part? I know there is a group that is internet like a group thing going on social media. So are you a part of those groups?
My brother, I support anything that can bring down the regime of Salva Kiir. So you cannot ask me. I'm anything that will bring down the regime of Salva Kiir, I'm fully supporting.
My next question to you, Dual, because I understand that you are supporting that. You know what happened Arab Spring uprising? You know what happened in Libya? Also, I'm not going to be talking about Libya. Let's talk about Sudan, Northern Sudan.
Yes,
Sudan. When people went to the on the street to remove the former president, Umar Bashir. What happened in Northern Sudan now? Is it North Sudan is stable?
Well, it's not stable, but at least the
why you want that to be dropped out?
The regime is out, and we have a new regime, right? So that new regime is part of change right now. Stability. Hold on. Stability come after change. So right now our priority is the changing the regime. Then next is stable South Sudan. So let Salva be out, Riek Machar out, and then we the new system come, and then the new system will work out how stability can come in the country. That's how sustainability
will come. There's no sustainability will come to the country if you see that the peace, Dr. Riek Machar and President, they are working on peace, that the parliament, so that the peace can come. But you guys are still step the government on the back that you are supporting uprising, while the uprising is not a good solution. And you see what happened in Northern Sudan. So
we saw it in North Sudan was a change.
What you want and your group, your colleague want is the people of South Sudan keep suffering. That's what you guys like to do.
Well, people have been suffering, at least to just say that we are ending the suffering.
You keep them suffering, right?
Our people are dying and they are suffering. But we want to end it.
One-on-one debate.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm doing this one-on-one, because I need to ask him. I want people of South Sudan to understand the truth.
Yes.
Because we cannot support something that is not in the reality.
I know. I understand. My question to you is, who you prepare those who are just encouraging uprising? Who is going to take over? Because uprising is coming up as a general, is a map of all rebels. Like you have a different party, and others they have different parties or the different leader. Who are you prepared to take over that can bring the country in one to lead us?
Well, that's a really very funny question, my brother. Okay. My brother, right now, as we are talking, there are maybe over 50 individual leaders from South Sudan who are well trained and they are ready to take over. So what I'm telling you is this: we have a lot of people. Starting from myself, there is. Hold on. Let me tell you. This,
so you
this
one of those leaders.
Yeah,
Sorry?
including him, yeah.
Let me tell you, okay? Myself, I have a UPSS, is a party, is well ready to take over. Thomas Cirillo is well ready to take over. There is Dutut is well ready to take over. We have Malonga one is ready. We have Bull guy here is ready. A lot of people we are lined up, my brother. There's a long list. I cannot count it. But what we want to do is just a change. Let's focus on the change. When the change comes, the leadership transmission will go to Juba and take over.
How come you call it a change it while you are living in diaspora? And you are said that you are one of the leader, and you are the one of the, you want to become a president of South Sudan. Why you are not inside South Sudan, you are in a diaspora. And you say you need change to come. If you need change to come in South Sudan, you have to be inside South Sudan to do the change. You cannot make change outside. You have to do a change with inside the country. Go ahead, guys.
Well, I think that's not because so many change that has come out, I cannot count it. There are a lot of change that come from outside or
give me
inside.
the example. Which country the president stay outside and then he become a president of that country?
If you look at those many of these African countries, you know, some of them you have to get the training from
the one Africa
in European country. Most of these people they learn it from European, America, and elsewhere, and then they go back to bring the good change from what they have seen, what they have experienced, what they have learned, and take it back home, so the home can be peaceful.
Give me one example. Which one of Africa country the person is staying outside in diaspora in Western country and is calling change in their own country that to come, and then after, okay, people will go outside, do an uprising, okay, and then after that overthrow, and then you go back to South Sudan to become the next president of South Sudan. We can't be, I mean, on another country. We can't get that.
Well, you know, I can't just name them for you, all of them there, but there's a couple of them. I think it's not a one country.
Give some examples.
If you can look at the issue of Darfur now, the leader of Darfur has been in Europe and changes.
Darfur is not a country; it is a region.
Sorry.
Well, they have become a country. It is not an independent country.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that they have made a change into Sudan right now. So Sudan become a change. So they were part of the group that are changing Sudan. So that's also you can cite that as a practical example. Yeah. So it's a lot. So my brother, what I wanted our people to understand is this: without addressing the root cause of the war, which is tribalism, our problem is not going to go away. Okay.
So you cannot
cannot
address the root cause of the problem or tribalism when you call for uprising. You cannot do that. I'm sorry, guy. If I come back and in trouble because I don't like to hear something that is not connected with my topic, because I need to come back. Because the uprising,
but you know, the reason for uprising is because
uprising and tribalism, how can they connect? They will not connect it. Some of your group, some was in your group,
for uprising.
Some of the people in your group, they're calling uprising that against other tribe in South Sudan, and they're calling uprising. So we said that tribe in South Sudan will go on the street and say that regime gay and let other tribe out.
You know, I think this is the way you look at it. The reason for uprising or for armed struggle is because there is no political will in the country. So there are no anything that welcome a real negotiation, something that welcome people to discuss real issues. So whenever, like right now, I presented the problem of tribalism to be discussed. Nobody listened to me, right? Only they listen if I ask now, if I go to Juba now and ask Salva Kiir to be the part of the government that I ask for my power hearing, they will accept me just in 1 minute. I will be in Juba tomorrow and get my position. But what about the thousand and million of people suffering? So what we are saying, we have to address the root cause to stop the problem. That is what I'm for. Okay, I'm not for a cake. So we need to address the real problem so that doesn't pass to the next generation, your children. I hope you will not like your children to be like us.
That is because
we were born in the war and then you die in the war.
You didn't get a cake. That's the reason why we call it outright to get your cake, right?
So that is what we are addressing the root cause. We are urging everybody to standing with the change and with the struggle until we come to the conclusion to address the root cause. when we address the root cause, tribalism will be stopped, and then we will have the lasting peace in our country that we want. But without addressing this, I think we will keep passing it to the generation, and that is really bad. So I'm calling all of us. Gatwech Dual has started today. I congratulate him for doing that. So he can go ahead and organize all that forces that are left out by Riek Machar because of position, and then we can just put the real thing on the table so that it can be discussed. If tomorrow you also fail and go join Juba, I believe God will still send people. So God is looking also actually to see the problem, and then we will one day actually will see the real problem and put it on the table and finish it for good. So that is my message, my brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Dollargen. Thank you, and those who are watching in different places, we thank you again, because this was just only a breaking news, and we thanks everybody who participated to put his opinion or her opinion, whether in written or within the panel with us here. We really thank you for that. And the chant will go now to our brother Billy Luke. Just drop in.
Is it my chance?
Yep.
Yes, it's your chance. You just elaborate, and now we are almost coming to conclusion. You can just even go up to your last remark after you put in your words.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. It is very unfortunate that I left, and Dollargen, I think, summarized everything. Comrade Manyang left as well. I haven't heard from him how he responded to Dollargen. But I just want to make sure I summarize my point briefly pertaining to the defection of or coup d'etat by General Gatwech Dual. It is very unfortunate to all of us as South Sudanese, because this coup d'etat by General Gatwech Dual and General Johnson Ulun is actually threatening the peace agreement. And that is why we are concerned as South Sudanese. So our interest here is to stand strongly behind the national unity government of South Sudan to make sure they implement the revitalized peace agreement to the letter. So we are for peace and stability. And the unity government of South Sudan should understand that this group that refused to be part of the revitalized peace agreement implementation should be treated accordingly. The constitution or had the law instructs them to do. You don't need to seek permission from the international community or seek permission from the regional community, because these people are actually threatening the current peace agreement. So something needs to be done about it. Instead of appeasing these groups, it is not a solution. It's not a way forward. Otherwise, we will continue to have a cycle of rebellion after rebellion after rebellion. And this is why this thing must stop. So my appeal is directly to the national unity government. That is include the first vice president and His Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit to do something about anyone that is against the current peace agreement. Because your peace agreement under this unity government is being supported by the international observers and by the regional grantors of this peace agreement. So anyone that is outside this peace agreement, it have to be dealt with according to the constitution. That is what I can recommend. To the opposition, activists or advocates on social media who are actually calling for the popular uprising, we know so far that you are coordinating this popular uprising under the so-called People Coalition for Civil Action. You are actually coordinating with this military general, respectively, to remove the government. Because there is this coalition of alliance being formed militarily and politically. And the strategy behind that is to remove the government. And then at the end of the day, South Sudanese is going to end up fighting one another. It is going to be like a Somalia style, or Libyan style of uprising, or which the other faction is over there, the other faction is there, and all of us are going to fight over that particular seat. That is why we look at this very critically. There is going to be a very severe consequences, which is going to be more extreme than what we have at this moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a good idea to call for a popular uprising. while you are coordinating with the rebel forces that are waiting to launch military offensive. This is very dangerous, and we should not continue to entertain this. This is also against the constitution of South Sudan, the transitional constitution. So let's wait until the peace agreement is implemented, and you will be able to cast your ballot, and you will be able to elect the next president of South Sudan. This is the only way forward. We should all reject violence. So anyone calling for the popular uprising, you are no different with the military general that are calling for military offensive. They are now coordinating military offensive, and this is very dangerous to our civil population. I also advise you, if you are in South Sudan, if you are watching in South Sudan as we speak, please avoid going to the street and be part of the so-called popular uprising. This is very dangerous for you. This government, the unity government of South Sudan, is legitimate, and it is supported by the international community and by the regional community. These people who call for the popular uprising, they have no strategy about who should replace it and why they justify violence. They have no idea. Otherwise, we don't want to see the similar situation which happened in Libya. Libya is the best example. You know, Muammar Gaddafi was one of the best leader ever for the Libyan people. Unfortunately, they removed it. And after his removal, you have seen the severe consequences of removing Muammar Gaddafi. So I think what I stand for as Billy Luke is peace and stability. I believe those of Gatwech Dual, they are not for peace, and they should be dealt with as it is expected. So let us not compromise this anymore. And we are appealing to His Excellency and the unity government, Dr. Riek Machar, to make sure they implement this peace agreement to the letter. But you should not continue to appease the violent group. Enough is enough. We are sick and tired of this. And we don't want to see more bloodshed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, take over, Madid. Yeah, come on in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Billy Luke. We appreciate your points, and Dollar Jane and all the participants. And I would like to say that welcome, my brother DJ Akimo, to Lagos State Media again. It's been a while, man. I've been just following up your shows nowadays, but you lost from Lagos State Media, and I'm happy to see you in this particular show that we have called in today. It's a concern of all of us as a South Sudanese. Because we need, we have only two topics that we are discussing here. The first one is the defection of Simon Gatwech, who has declared himself as the leader now of the new movement, which is the same SPLM IO, and is against, he hosted out Dr. Riek Machar. Second to it, asking for the popular uprising in South Sudan in this situation. And it's just only a few days ago, or just last 2 days, they sworn in new legislative assembly MPs into the parliament for this implementation of this revitalized peace agreement. So my brother, karibu sana and welcome to the show.
All right. Thank you guys, Lagos State Media and all the viewers, and Billy Luke, and plus all the people watching all over the world. Yeah, I disappear a little bit. There's a lot of family deaths and all this, and I travel to somewhere and come back. Just part of our family arrangement for 2 years. I went for the wedding. It's very tough. The wedding for 2 years is being postponed, and the death is coming.
Yes.
But we need to just move on and then do whatever we can do. So I just want to say something here on behalf of I'm not IO, but for the followers of IO, the objective of Riek Machar in the beginning. Bill, look, I want to respond to you. Those members, they're upset. Riek Machar betrayed them. Okay? we need to respect the IO members who they start with Riek Machar. Riek Machar end up in Juba. Okay? Let's give them respect as the members of IO. And most of my colleagues from Equatoria, they've been betrayed by IO, by Riek Machar. Okay? As a leader, you promise those people. You promise them for change, for reform. You end up in Juba. What do you expect? Itahire was promised to be a governor somewhere. You never get it. So, let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
But the brother of Itahil is now he's now the deputy of the house.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Parliamentary speaker.
What I'm saying, if you're a leader, okay, you have objective. You convince your followers. Yes, those followers has been betrayed by Dr. Riek Machar. Where is the security arrangement? Where is the federal system? Dr. Riek Machar appointed all these people in the booth to be governors. Okay? No, let's be honest here. But when it comes for reality, Dr. Riek Machar betrayed his followers. So I'm not IO, but let's come and give them credit. IO will pick whatever they want to pick. I'm not IO member, so let them deal with their own issues. As you, Billy, look, I'm not sure if you're a government supporter or you are concerned citizen. Leave the IO to deal with their mess. But don't say that Dr. Riek Machar is going to implement peace. What peace? Dr. Riek Machar just sit there and enjoy his time because there's no way out. Security arrangement is not there. Federal system is not there. The manifesto of IO is not implemented. So I don't want to talk too much. I'm sorry. I just want to make a point here for those followers of Dr. Riek Machar who disagree. You guys have a right. You got empty promises. You want to follow the new guy. It's up to you guys. But I wish you guys all the best. This problem now is dividing Nuer. Because IO belong to Nuer in the beginning, I know. Those Equatorians, they follow IO. And then they went there, they're blind, they open their eyes. All these promises are not there. Now become Nuer and Nuer is dividing themselves. The rest of the IO follow, the rest of the Equatorians who follow IO. Now they left, the train is left. The train is left to Juba. So I don't want this to be Nuer and Nuer to divide themselves. Let them sort out, because the majority in IO is Nuer, and I believe the IO is Nuer. Let them solve their problem. We don't want bloodshed. I agree with you. We don't want war. But this thing cannot be solved just because Riek Machar in Juba. And then the IO members are split. They're going to have a war between themselves and Nuer. Some Equatorians, they just back up. They went there, they never get what has been promised. So those Equatorians, they feel like this is ridiculous. Now,
DJ Kim, can I intervene before we close the show?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I respect the internal affairs of the SPLA, SPLMIO. We did not actually interfere in their affairs. But what we are analyzing here is the fact that all of us as South Sudanese should be concerned about peace and stability of our country. That means all of us, we have the obligation and responsibility collectively as South Sudanese to make sure we support the revitalized peace agreement. Because in the revitalized peace agreement protocol, all the issues, all the root cause concerns are addressed in that legal document. It becomes a legal document. And the first Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, is the signatory to this peace agreement.
Well,
no matter how people defend it.
Let me ask you. You cut me. No. Let me ask you. You cut me earlier. Let me ask you. Where is the security arrangement?
The security arrangement is under implementation.
Where?
So every protocol is going to be implemented. Let me be very clear, Akim. Listen, the reason why those Equatorians that were under the IO leadership and other members, they felt humiliated simply because they did not get the position. Their interest was all about the position. So this problem IO came about during the formation of the government. And so when Dr. Riek Machar tried to allocate some of these ministerial posts, he only designated them to his family members.
Okay, let me ask you.
The problem starts.
Let me ask
these
you.
have nothing to do with security arrangement or any peace,
Let me ask you.
agreement protocol being violated.
If the Equatoria are there for IO for position, did Riek Machar promise them or not? If you're the member,
I agree with you. He promised them something, and that means he promised them the position because their interest was all about position, not about the issues.
Why do you promise? Why do you promise your members if you know your members cannot get that position? Why do you promise them? If you're
well, that's none of my business. I don't have to argue about that.
Let me intervene here. Just 1 minute. Yeah, Akim is right, because when I say Akim is right, the party of IO. So this is not a concern of the SPLM, SPLA. It's concern of the whole
IO.
The whole IO.
Correct.
They are Nuer, Young, Equatorian. Those who are in IO party, they should sit together, because we don't want fight. They should sit together, and they can dissolve that agreement. It can be
disagreement, among themselves.
Through talk, by themselves. They can say that, Riek, we don't need you anymore to be our leader within the IO party.
Yes.
They can even vote. They can
Those
who are from IO, they can vote Riek Machar out from the party. It's something very simple. So there's no need to say that.
Agaran, we have no disagreement over that. To be honest, that's why I said earlier, this is an internal affairs of the SPLM-IO, and we don't care whom they can actually elect to become the chairman of their party. It's up to them. But our concern here is about those who are actually, they are now trying to scapegoat the violation of the revitalized peace agreement, which is not the case. I said earlier, the reason why these members of the IO defected from Dr. Riek Machar was because of the position. So it's very clear.
Okay, let me put it this way.
It's not about the violation of the revitalized peace agreement.
I want to exit. I'm not a member of the IO. I wish Itahile will become defend himself. I'm not a member of the IO. But IO have a right. If Simon, the new IO chairman, because they know in Pagak what they discuss. Now, if you want to convince the IO members about what they discussed in the past, about the policy of IO, he will get the most supporters, because still they believe on that philosophy of the IO. When they agree in Pagak. So IO have a right to remove whatever the chairman. This is their party, and then nobody can say arrest Riek Machar. Dr. Riek Machar is just a person, but the members are the heart of the IO. So it depends on the members of the IO to decide, because I see now most of them they're going to Simon. Okay, so it's still IO might be alive through Simon.
Okay, Akim, I challenge you. Are you for the support of the peace and stability of the revitalized peace agreement, or are you for those groups who are defecting from the peace agreement?
I support peace, but there's no peace. I don't know which peace.
Okay, if you support peace, then you should support Dr. Riek Machar, because he's a partner to the unity government, which is implementing the peace.
Riek Machar went to Juba without security arrangement. Riek Machar is just sitting there and eat and bring.
The security arrangement is undergoing implementation.
Billy, I quickly write back because of Akim.
Because of me or because of the topic?
I quickly come back because of Akim. I have 30 minutes to start work. Look, DJ Akim.
Yeah.
Wait, Ruben, wait.
Okay,
we need to apologize to our brother because he was here before you, Coach Deng. So just let Manyang.
Let Manyang talk because he's going to work.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe other brother who just tuned in at time.
Yeah, we need to tell a coach so that he can understand why
Manyang
is.
No, it's okay. Let him go. Let him go. Yeah.
Okay, my time is going to. I have to leave, but I can hear you guys. I'm not an IO supporter. What I'm saying. Hold on. I'm not IO supporter. I don't want you to come after me. Come after the topic.
No, we know you. We know you, brother. Keep
come after me. But the truth might be saying, IO supporters have a right to elect whatever they want to elect. IO supporters has been betrayed by Dr. Riek Machar. So it's not my business.
Akim, we know you very well. You are really just a man of your word. You are not supporting. You just go straight to the point. the truth you dig in, and that's what you need to share with the public. That's what I know, I personally. So nobody is accusing you of drilling anything. You just need to bring us to the point. Like what you have said now, those people, what do they think? If it is me now, I have a movement and I got the people who are following me, and when I sign peace and I just go and sit in the office by myself and I just make it to be the family things, what the rest will say behind you. So you dig in. You are not part of IO. We know. You just need a peace.
Let me answer this for Bill Looks. I can go. Bill Look will say those people need position. Even in the government.
I can't wait.
This position. They go to kill. They need position.
Akim, let Ruben just add his views, and then you will answer them all.
Hi, once again, Mr. Akim. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I actually spoke earlier, and I left because I was driving, and I've been listening anyway. I just stopped now. Look, the reason that I quickly rush back is because of one thing. You said that you, the SPLM members, which is the SPLM mainstream, or anybody who is not an SPLM-IO member, we should not be melting into the affairs of the SPLM-IO. Is that your statement? That's what your statement is.
No, what I said.
I'm paraphrasing. I'm paraphrasing closer to what your remark was. Okay, I am making it my own statement. I drawn my own judgment out of that. So what I'm trying to say is this: this issue of Gatwech Dual and his generals who declare that they have toppled Riek Machar, it is no longer an SPLM-IO issue. This has become a national issue. Why? We are in partnership. The SPLM-IO and the SPLM mainstream in government have signed an agreement, of which Dr. Riek Machar, that agreement made him the first vice president of the republic. And then, whatever the disagreements are within the SPLM-IO party, whatever the disagreements are, I can challenge the SPLM-IO if people like you were smart enough, and people like General Gatwech Dual, if they were smart enough, if they had to think critically and politically strategize their move, you should have come to Juba, and the top leadership of SPLM-IO should have called the meeting and remove Dr. Riek Machar democratically through numbers. If you were to do that, then the president of the republic, in person of General Salva Kiir, will be left optionless. He will be left with no choice.
They will recognize that. Yeah,
he will be left with no choice to resist the call of SPLM-IO.
Okay, I have a question for you before you go further.
Well, before you interject, let me come to my conclusion. For me, I don't like to repeat. I always want to finish once, and then I can let you jump in to comment. But at the moment, those of you, people like Don Largin is saying that Riek Machar is no longer option. Which peace agreement have we actually negotiated? Which peace agreement have you negotiated with Salva Kiir in order for you to impose somebody like Gatwech Dual to be the next vice president, or somebody that will be taking over from Dr. Riek Machar? Which peace agreement have you so far negotiated with President Salva Kiir and signed with him? That's one. Secondly, you are saying that Riek Machar is no longer optional in your opinion. This is completely based on personal opinions, and all these remarks are made out of anger, out of disappointment, out of bitterness that the SPLM-IO leadership, the renegade factions, I call it the renegade factions in the meantime, which is led by Gatwech Dual, to achieve replacing Dr. Riek Machar while you are not in Juba. So this is why I write back, and I'll let you come in to make whatever comments. It is no longer an SPLM-IO affair. It is a national issue. And that is why we are saying that you have no option, and the government is ready to implement peace agreement in letter and spirit. Period.
Okay, let me interject here. I just came here as a South Sudanese. I don't have a party. Like you, I will never pick a side. Why? Yes, no. We need to find solution. But for you now, you're talking about the peace. Where the peace? Tell me. Which peace are you talking about? You're talking about the peace that Riek Machar is implementing. Which peace? I'm confused about your peace.
If there was no peace, comrade, if there was no peace, why did we had 550 members of parliament sworn in just 2 days ago? If there was no peace agreement.
This is job seekers. Job seekers. Let me tell you, my brother. Let me tell you here. This is job seekers
brought in through peace agreement.
Let me tell you. The members of the IO, they complain about their chairman, they employ all his family members. I'm not IO member, but you hear in the media, Dr. Riek Machar, his wife, his cousin.
But you are a rebel sympathizer.
Let me tell you.
You are a rebel sympathizer. There is nothing wrong with that for you to be an SPLM-IO.
Let me tell you.
Right.
Well, Akim, the way you comment, you are sympathizing with them.
Okay. Let me tell you. I'm a concerned citizen. I'm a South Sudanese. I'm a former Red Army. What are you talking about, my friend? What are you talking about? I'm not here against Riek Machar or against the Samuel, whoever. But those people have rights. They feel betrayed. So let them decide as the party. Whoever they want to remove is none of my business, none of my business. But what we need peace. The really peace. Without him to come to Juba, there's no peace. You sign a peace with Dr. Riek Machar and his members, still the guy will be in the bush. This is the peace you want? This is my question to you.
How do we achieve the real peace anyway?
That's why we're talking about
in your opinion, how do we achieve the real peace? Okay. Meanwhile, we have signed the peace agreement with Dr. Riek Machar. Why didn't you challenge that peace before it was actually signed? Now you are challenging that peace.
No, we challenge. We challenge here. There's no peace. This is family members seeking for jobs.
All right. How do we achieve the real peace in South Sudan?
Let me answer this. Akim, this is what you don't understand.
Okay. Let me finish.
Riek Machar,
let me go here. Hold on. Let me answer here. I'm not a NAS member. If I'm a NAS member, I will talk about NAS here every day. Why should I fear? So for you guys are confused. All the viewers here writing I'm NAS member. Why should I fear? I will open a television of NAS. Why should I fear? My friend.
It's okay if you are a contest South Sudanese citizen, then you are like Jonkor, come on. Because Jonkor is actually aligning himself politically with this. He's a mouthpiece. So you are no different with Jonkor, Mayun.
Put me with Jonkor and then we will bring the peace tomorrow. So it's this
okay, but you form an alliance now with Gatwech Dual. That's what you are saying. So we know how to interpret your language.
No, what I said, let's give those members right. Members of IO. It depends. Okay, Dr. Rama in Juba. Let's see how many percentage of supporters he have. And the guy
listen,
in the bush.
This is what I want to tell you, Akim. This is what you don't understand. Legally speaking, I think Manyang Mador is actually a studying law. And we actually analyze this from the legal perspective. Dr. Riek Machar is the signatory to the peace agreement. No matter how members of the SPLA-IO rejected him, he's still the legal person who signed the signature. And what Gatwech Dual has done is a coup d'etat. That means he actually, toppled the leadership by taking over or split it into two. But I think Manyang Mador put it correctly. If Gatwech Dual would have been inside Juba and called for a democratic election to remove Dr. Riek Machar, I think the government of South Sudan, which is now a party to the national unity government implementing the revitalizing peace agreement, would have recognized it because it would be considered an internal party affairs. And so whoever IO elected democratically will be recognized by the national unity government.
The members of the IO decide to remove. The members of the IO decide to remove him.
No, yeah, but listen, They are outside the peace agreement now. They are outside the country. When Gatwech Dual was appointed as the presidential advisor, he declined. That means he means war. And he never want to come to Juba ever since.
So how are you going to solve this?
So he's not for peace.
Okay, how are you going to solve this? Riek Machar is in Juba with 6 people, family
Riek
members.
Machar is for peace. That's why he has to be supported, because he's a peace partner.
How are you going to support this? Riek Machar with this family member got the job. Gatwech in the bush with the soldier. Tell me how are you going to support? I'm confused here. Tell me.
Guys, give chance to others.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We don't want problem, but the rest of the IO members in the bush, they still support that guy. So, you know, it's up to you guys. God
We
bless.
agree. Brother Tim, we urge them, all of them, including Simon Gatwech, to come and sit down and negotiate their own party, first of all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Brother Coach Deng.
Bye, guys. I'll leave.
And Paul Mayan, welcome to Lagos State Media, and Brother Guy General Yaelwal, welcome to Lagos State Media. We start with the coach now.
Okay, thank you, guys. I really, I really enjoy the negotiation between Bill Luke and this guy is called I don't know his name. I forget him even. Well, Lagos State Media, thank you so much. I think I stay away for a long time, but I saw you hosting a lot of show about church and all these things and political. You know, we give it a time off a little bit. You know, so thank you for coming back for this topic. You know what I could add, like our brother who is going away now is called I don't know. Akim.
Yeah,
you know, Lagos State Media, I guess majority of you, including Bill Luke, we learn Nuer language through all this show. You know, before we are about to forget it, but because of the lot of show of this, our brother Nuer, we learn a lot. And even I cannot take single one day without watching the show, you know, from them. And you know, and you learn something. You know what I can add in this one? I'm urging a citizen of Nuer, all Nuer, to listen to the voice. There is a message was sent yesterday or before yesterday by boy Rolnyang. You know, he was addressing Nuer by in the Nuer language. I wish everybody got that message. Even including Dinka who know the Nuer language, you should listen that one. You know what?
We need interpretation of it. Help us in the translation or interpretation of it.
Oh no, Bill, look, what I can say, Nuer language is very clear. There is no difference with Dinka language. You know, if you keep listening to it, yeah, we will find someone to interpret it. You know what Boy Rolnyang say. Even we will bring it on Padang Show one day, maybe this week. It's a very clear message. And this guy is not joining. I don't know, he's in Khartoum or in Juba. What he say in his message, he saying Nuer is confused completely. You know, those who IO in diaspora here, Boy Rolnyang say that they are confused, and I cannot agree with them at all. You know, and he tackled one by one. You know, so what I'm saying, those who are in diaspora here supporting.
Quite sorry. Do you have that audio with you now to play it for us, please?
Oh yeah, but I can.
I did the announcement of the defection of Radio Tamazuj that you're talking about.
No, this guy.
It was just a recorded audio. I have it, but it's a very long audio. I don't know how long. 20 minutes.
I will send it to you, Lagos State, on after we finish. Maybe you can go and I can play it.
All right.
I can play it, but it's very long. But I'm asking you.
Send it to us, say that we'll come and analyze and we can just play it in another show. Yes, it's all right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking you to have this audio. It's a historical audio from Boy Rolnyang. You know, whatever he say in Nuer language there is nothing left. And even he refused to be Nuer even. Because of the, you know, he started 91 and all these things. He say everything about the mistake Nuer Amulo, the man forming a nyanya between Gaitut and Akwara Tem and John Garang, he said it clearly, you know. So
it's called Roy Lornyang is supporting to Paul Malone. Is that the one?
He put a very
big. He's the one. He's a supporter of Malong Awan. He's a part of Malong Awan group.
Okay, all right.
Talking about the Super Rolnyang. Who just defected from the SSPDF.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, but he did not. He has no Facebook. He sent it to someone, and someone I think posted on the Facebook on his timeline. That's where I get it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I am saying, Boy Rolnyang has a question. Is a Nuer fighting because of the killing in 2013? That is where they are fighting for, or they are fighting to overthrow Salva Kiir. You know, all these words, when you collect them and think, these guys, majority of them are confused. Even Garwidal himself, he confused, and Riek Machar confused them at all, because he did not tell them the truth. But you know, everybody has his own opinion. Those who are left in Maganes, we know the Cholo issues, but now they have two options. If they say they are not Riek Machar is not longer the chairman, well, my brother who is speaking ahead of me, he tackled everything. You know, nothing left. He did a good job, because there is no bad peace and there is no good peace. And if it was a bad peace, Riek Machar should not be there, because he is the one who signed the peace with government. And if they are complaining because of implementation of the IO, those who are left over, well, that one could be through Riek Machar, you know, negotiation with them. But now they took another role. They say that, oh, we have to have another faction so we can have our general, and then maybe they are thinking they will negotiate with the government and come in, and then when they came in, either there will be a removal of Riek Machar has been as a vice president, and then maybe Garwidal will be put there, or I don't know, what do they think? But government could stand with peace partner, and then they can cheer them away from Maganes in one day. But I think now they are there, they have no option. If they say they are going to the war, they will not win the war, you know, because inter guide for corno, guide for dollar mamas dollar into his own problem. The who will support them? The mun there to akum beside baden. So now the genocide saga. How you know lo Kiir biga yao gesit yan bugulo okay into tal wa general bitakum. Well, I don't know what will happen there. But what I think, they will be cheered away from Maganes, for sure, because the peace is there, and peace is still a peace. So that's the thing I can add, and thank you, guys.
I thank you so much.
You are mute. You are mute.
Yeah. But this guy need to speak English. And this guy is speaking our coach. He need to understand they have a newer woman in there. His hatred need to be limited.
No,
don't. You enough. You better shut up.
Hey,
this is enough.
Listen,
if you don't speaking with the peace and you are speaking hatred, I'm a newer woman and I have to answer your word.
Allah.
Just hang on now. It's all right.
Yes. Your Dinka hatred, you need to stop. The Dinka hatred need to stop. If you talking over here about the peace, you guys need to be slow down about Nuer hatred. You are coach. You better too much hatred about Nuer. This is the social media. If you want to fight, you can do them again.
Hang on. Listen. Nyajuani, sorry to interrupt, but and also I have to tell you, when you come to the show, we have procedures on.
I do understand that, but this guy needed to limit.
No. Hang on, wait for your time. When we
I do understand, but this guy he need to make sure he need to wear his hatred about Nuer people.
Hang on, there are people who have been waiting down here before you, and they need
I do understand that. I don't want to be interrupted, but I just want to tell this guy your hatred is enough. We
You
know all the
respond later. You respond later. Thank you. Thank you. Just
the
hold
government
on.
will be
Hold on.
defected. No,
This is
can
your
go.
second
That's
time
fine.
in my show. Your second
We
time in
will
my
give
show
you
now.
your chance, my sister.
I do
We will
understand
give you
that.
your chance.
I will give you your chance. I will give you the floor, please. Just cool down and relax. And
I do understand. I can cool down, but I want to tell the Dinka man, you guys need to slow down. It doesn't
that's
matter.
the language. I don't like that language.
39 Dinka law.
Don't use
We
that language
understand
of being
39
a man
Dinka
of
law.
a mere
Okay,
woman.
take it easy, Nyajuani.
We are not
They
here.
can go, but Dr.
Okay, I will move forward.
Tell
Paul Mayan, you came first before, and then I will go to General Yailwal, and then I will come back to my sister, Nyajuani Thought.
Okay. First of all, welcome my sister Nyaz, Nas Women Vision Worldwide, and the rest of the panel, and also thank you, Ping, and the rest of the panel. Look, I'm going to be very brief and short. So the first thing is, what I will say first is, and also to Billy, look, the first point that I will respond is, I do stand with DJ. What's his last name? What's his?
Akim.
DJ Akim, yeah. So I'm not sure if you guys have understood DJ Akim point. What he's saying is we should not mess with the IO internal affairs, which I strongly agree on one basis. You know, we have a revitalized peace agreement, and in that agreement, it's between the parties. So if there are parties who don't have who do not have like SPLM DC, they don't have or SSOA, they don't have army. So those parties that do not have a those political wings that do not have an army wing still exist within the party, within the agreement. So for IO to use that platform as a way to destabilize peace, personally here, we need to be very careful when we look at the situation. Because IO can have internal problems. They can have issues with leadership within the organization as a structure, which is fine. Because if the army, if Simon has removed Dr. Riek Machar, which we are still waiting to have we need to have we need to get a message from the government or from the party itself, a press to say that he has declared himself as the leader of the party. That itself will not destabilize peace because he has no authority to remove Dr. Riek Machar on two bases. One is Riek is a signatory to the agreement. Second to it is any disagreement that happened after the peace was signed, that will be treated as an outside issue. It's not that was after. If this happened before the peace was signed, I would say we could say this will destabilize the revitalized peace agreement. That's number one. Now, when we look at an IO as a movement or as a political party, I know this is in the interest of the government to use it as a way to destabilize the peace, which is currently they are implementing it. Yesterday or 2 days ago, we've seen the MPs being sworn in. That was a good step. Now, this peace has a lot of challenges, which we already know. Now, if we use IO as a reason to destabilize the peace, what will happen is the government can use it as a weapon to make it as an excuse to say that, oh, we can't have the peace because IO has issues. What about the other parties, other political parties? There are more than 30 signatories on the peace agreement. What are they going to say about what is the point on that issue? So what I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't panic on this issue. Whoever has rebelled, they can do so. The government will handle it in a way that they are progressing with the peace process. Now, to finalize my point is that I just want us to be very clear on, as a diaspora community, because a lot of cases has been said that the diaspora is destabilizing peace. We are not making anything, any situation better. But what I would need to say is we are a voice for a lot of people who don't speak back home there. There's a lot of people who are under house arrest, who are not allowed to even say the government is not doing anything good. The reason we talk is because it's to let the government function in a way that our people don't struggle as they were in Khartoum. Like a lot of people who were in, and I'll be very clear, a lot of people who were in the war, during the war, you're not allowed to even say a word about the government. So this is not what we wanted to. We don't want that South Sudan. We want a South Sudan where we have people who have freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of religion, and whatever you believe, or as a tribe, you have a right to express yourself. Now, to finalize my word, and I know I'm talking a lot, is about the recent arrest that was made 3 days ago. That arrest is very, very important.
Sorry, Paul Mayen, to interrupt you. Are you commenting on the popular uprising, alleged?
Yes, that's it.
Yes, yes.
All right,
go ahead.
That's why.
Yeah. So that popular uprising, people are talking about. I haven't witnessed it yet, and I personally, I don't support popular uprising on one basis. It creates instability. Second to it create violence that is brutal, that is a lot of people can be a victim of it without any issue. Now, what we need to feel, this is my appeal to the government and the opposition and those who are listening who work with the government. The government need to be very careful. If you have a security organs that is implementing peace, that is working in the interest of the people, what we need to do is have a press. Like what we are saying here now is we are talking about allegations, not just allegations. These are true, and some of these information are correct, accurate. But if the government can come out and clarify, not just defending itself, we could avoid these tensions. And just to finalize, that's all I could just say. It's not a debate. It's a good debate, but what we need to know is we should not use IO intervention commander as a way to destabilize peace. It shouldn't destabilize peace. Thank you.
I have a question for Paul Mayen. I don't know whether I should let the rest of the new panel contribute before I rebuttal. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. You can.
Okay. I was about to give a floor to those who haven't yet spoken, like General Yailwal. Maybe you may be having a question to him. You should just come after both of them. You give the question.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Thank you. I'll be patient.
Yeah. Yailwal, can you open your camera, please? And the floor is yours.
Yes. Okay. Greetings to you all, everybody that's on here. First of all, I wanted to, give respect to our fallen heroes for this.
Your camera, we can't see you.
Arid Al Ghali, yeah, I know. I was outside, so.
Oh, okay.
But, I'm gonna just only speak about 3 things, and maybe I will comment on one thing also at the end. So the things that I'm trying to talk about is this formation of this new rebellion of Garwich and Johnson Oling. Those are the only 2 things that I'm gonna focus on, as I believe was the main thing that we're here for. So
the second topic is about popular uprising. You can comment on that too.
Yeah,
they're related issues
that we are talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, you know,
Yep.
it's
just
the
to
second
help
one, you know, because I'm gonna speak about three things. So that you know, that uprising, I mean that rebellion of Gatwech, ever since he decided to you know, go ahead and join forces with Olin, you know, I thought that was a very bad idea, you know, because Riek, as his former commander, you know, was already in Juba, and I believe there was already in one talk or agreement that they're going for peace. You know, we're tired of what we went through from 13, 16. You know, it's very tiring, and I believe that was you know, the stuff that we all know was agreed upon, including him. But his joining forces with Oling, I believe it's very destroying. You know, like in a way that, like right now, I see brothers, and I'm gonna talk about a couple of them that I know on here, like Lord Young and Blue, those who
Dol Argent. Talking
aimlessly,
about Dol Argent and Peter Blue.
they support anything or everything aimlessly just because they know there's a fight in that, and they know that they're not gonna be in the front line to fight that war. They're not gonna be there. They're just gonna be on Facebook Live here, you know, and encourage others over there, you know, to go to the front line, you know, while they sit here in Canada, America, and Australia, probably England as well, or everywhere else in Europe, you know, and have their kids dying in the front line, like we saw. Like earlier, I believe it was him that suggested that Gatwech Dual, you know, should be followed by everybody to come to Juba with forces and stuff like that, you know, for peace, which doesn't make sense. There's no way. We saw what happened in 16 when Riek, with his mind that I don't know how he was thinking at the time, to bring a huge army, you know, and put it in the middle of another huge army. That it don't work like that. You know, it was suicidal. Riek had to run all the way to Congo until his feet were actually weared out. He had to be transferred to Khartoum when Bashir was still in the leadership in Sudan. So we don't want that again. He mentioned something like that earlier, like, you know, Gatwech is the one right now leading, and he should be his orders or whatever he was saying should be followed. That when he decides to come for peace with the force that he's going to try to bring to Juba as well, you know, should all, you know, be allowed to enter again. And so these ideas, I believe, are very wrong, you know, and we should have seriousness about this peace, because if we want death to continue, I believe it's you know, it has become our nature right now. You know, it can go on as long as we want, but nobody won that. We all are tired. So brothers who support people that just because of positions, you know, I will call whatever it is, whatever it is. Because of positions today, people will do whatever it takes, whether it's to destroy or to do whatever, you know, they're 100% behind that. We no longer accept that. So to those guys, I tell them no. About the uprising, I believe that also has the same, you know, route. You know, they also want, you know, to end up being in positions and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
you should wait to see whether this peace that we just swearing in some MPs and speakers of the House and all that stuff, if that can just succeed and change things. But while that was happening, they decided to, do something else, which really makes me say that, I believe maybe because they were not sworn in as well. ممكن يا خلام شنو to find a way to do something so they could be sworn in, in the next coming days or something like that. So what's killing us right now is Sudanese. We all know it. Whoever doesn't know right now is somebody that's probably living in a whole different planet or whatever. Positions is what's killing us. And we need to pay attention to that. So our people should not be fooled that go and do uprising and whatever, like Riek was fooling everybody. Like, let's go, this was going on and we were being killed, and now he's in Juba. Those right now will call for uprising. You will go to uprise and end up getting killed. But tomorrow they will be sitting, as governors, MPs, and etc. So that's, our people needs to wake up. Okay, the third one, and that was gonna be the last, because I'm not gonna try to speak that much. I live by a military area, so helicopters are, just daily moving on top of me. So the third one is that we also need to see people like Hakim earlier, when Hakim is actually the one that pushed me to come on here, because Hakim.
You need to rise to your conclusion, such that we are almost 3 hours now, and this was just a brief.
Yeah, that was my conclusion anyway. So Hakim, even though he thinks he's smart, I don't know where he can play that game at. He can play it wherever he know to play it. But he shouldn't try it anywhere. He's actually also a supporter of anything that destroys, just like Hawajat del Marufin, you and Hagan al-Gaida, it's just there, Lo Mafi had Benak there, they will not be working. There will be no UN. We don't need them. So they are always happy. They're getting paid because there's war going on. And that is another thing we need to look at, those UN. We already saw last time when we captured them with trucks labeled as construction materials. Lake State Hinak. So anyways, that person named Hakim, I'm not gonna talk much or anything bad about him, but you need to be thorough in Galbak. Yeah, you was a child soldier and whatever, but when it comes to like how our country is right now, everybody got their own corner, and we all know that. So please, when you come next time to join any show, and stir up others to even show up when they're really not ready to show up, be you. Don't be a snake, because the snakes and stuff like that, that's why our country is like that. So anyway, guys, anybody else could go on, and I'll give you all a chance. I'll be out of here, but I'll watch.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gerald. Guy.
Thank you.
Before we go to Nyajwani, I would like to introduce her. So let me take over, and then I introduce Nyajwani.
No.
Nyajwani, let me respond.
You are not the one controlling the show, and it's not your show to introduce her to us or to the public or to our audience. What I'm requesting here, I need just to let everybody know what we are here. We are not here to dig into the grievances or the past. Yep. We are talking here to prevent another problem. We don't need another bloodshed to happen in our country. And that's why we are here.
Ganu Quellinga Galot, Linga John
Yeah.
Galot.
Hang on. Let me just finish. I need to put you on the right track because I know your frustration and the anger.
No. I don't need no frustration and I don't need no lecture. I already hear of all of you.
I'm not lecturing.
Just quiet. Let me talk first. And possible, I have to tell you the Lagos State media. I would like to participate, but the Lagos State media is the racist show I never heard. The reason why you guys come over here in celebration, Dinka celebration about Johnson Wulonyande and Gatwech Dual to defect to Dinka people. We already know the 39 law Dinka people. Dinka law saying any newer people who is stronger. We have to divide it and pay the lot of money to divide the newer people. We already know that story. We're not surprised because God will and Wulong go to you guys. We're not surprised for that because in your mind thinking you guys divided Nuer is an option to you. It's not good option. We are women, Nuer women, we will born the children to fight with the Dinka people. Just mark my word. Billy Luke, mark my word. You Lagos State people, mark my word. We will teach our children to fight with the Dinka.
Come on, yeah, John. Don't ever say that.
You guys can take Gatwech Dual. It's okay. Let me finish. You guys
Who is taking Gatwech Dual now? Gatwech Dual is...
Billy, let her talk.
Let me talk. Please. I don't want to say shut up because you're a man, okay? To be do the respect, I cannot say shut up because you're a man. You're a Sudanese man. I can say, well, quiet, let me talk. Okay, we understand the 39 law. The Dinka 39 law say we don't want Nuer people to be together. We want Nuer people to divide it because they can't fight with the Nuer people. The Dinka man cannot defend Nuer men. We don't want Nuer people
Brother, I'm not hearing.
to be
There is
together.
two
We want
voices.
Nuer people to divide it because they can't. I think you guys recorded or whatever. I understand you don't want to hear it, but I will say it.
We are hearing you, sister. We are hearing you. Go ahead.
We understand the Dinka people, they can fight Nuer men. And then the best option they will do it to buy the Nuer people to divide them. But guess what? When you pay the money will die tomorrow. When Nuer people to fighting to get the defending in South Sudan, they will continue no matter what. We will warn the children to tell them fight the Dinka until you guys get the last peace in South Sudan. Because Dr. Machar, he go to Juba for peace. What mega call Kur go to buy the Gatwech Dual and Johnson Wulong and William Gargiat is because he doesn't want the peace to become by Riek Machar name.
All right. Are you telling us now that the overthrowing of Dr. Machar, is it a Kolokur who asked?
Yes, a Kur paid the $4 million.
Do we have
$4 million? Listen to me. You don't understand when I'm not. When you guys talking to me, you guys cannot understand. Just listen to me. Just chill out and listen to me. I call who pay $4 million to buy William Gargiat, to give it to Gadwal, to give it to Wulong. And then that money today, what happened is breaking Organic. We understand $4 million.
$4 million.
$4 million. So he gave it to William Gargiat. Last week, you guys hearing the audio. When you guys hearing the audio, Gargiat mentioned that I called Kur, told Gargiat we want Gadwal to be take my sharp spot. Who don't understand that word? You guys here understand it because some of you here knew it. So now the plan is succeed. Guess what? Dr. Machar, he will lead no matter what. Even he cannot lead, we will born the children to be a boy, all of them to be boy, to fight the Dinka people in South Sudan.
Who is the problem? The person giving the money and the person accepting the money. Who is the problem?
The problem is when the man cannot feed the man. Guess what? You could pay the money to buy people to fight us. Not people fight with all the world. But you guys still not defeat them yet. They still in Juba with you. They still anywhere with you. and they still eat, and they still born the children. Did you guys never understand about the Nuer children will fight you tomorrow? Yes, they will, because the father, they've been killed by the Dinka people. So guess what? You guys pay $4 million to divide Nuer general. But
just come
it's
to,
okay.
Come to your conclusion. Yes.
It doesn't matter. I have to talk. Let me talk further. After that, I will come to conclusion. I'm not finished talking yet. I want you to hear it very well. We understand you guys paying $4 million to divide Nuer. I call Kur pay William Garjiat, the spokesperson of IO. He accept money. Yes, we understand it. But the money will done tomorrow. But the truth will be over. It's over. Because Dr. Machar is go with the peace. It's nothing wrong. He never do nothing wrong. He just going for peace. If they do the neglection when he's go to the peace, when they neglect him because they pay the money by a Kur. If you guys Dinka come to the show today to celebrate that, we understand you guys happy. You guys happy because Nur can fight. Be your aqua debate ka jangwa me. Ala wo taga debate ka jang. Yeah, lenga ala to ke very well ka jang ti kan bukan celebration la.
Oh my God.
We dual mi ci wok wi den e bu gar we dual be nyen ya gan ma char ka yu do pay ga akol kur pan ka je. Anga ku je mo akol kur she yu she ga pay William Garjado.
Allah ya Rabbi. Okay.
This is no longer. It is no longer entertaining. Even we don't even need to waste time entering those kind of.
Yeah,
I think he's being emotional.
Yeah, he's emotional. I don't blame them.
Let's take it that way.
Really, look. Sometimes you see.
Guys, I can her a little bit. I know why he's so mad.
That's okay. That's okay. We don't.
Let's not talk about it. This is just an emotional feeling. Even when he was actually referring to you, he was referring to all of us. But let's ignore it.
Don't bother about that. She's really emotional, and the same.
Yeah, I feel her too. We don't need to answer anything.
Talk like that. We cannot judge her completely. That's what I need to be asking you. Yes, honestly. Ladies are really affected people.
Emotional, yeah.
That's why we here talking that we don't need another rebellion or another something that will bring bloodshed. They are out crying. They just give birth, the children they just go and die in unnecessary things. Somebody using them. So whatever she has said, even if it's touching you, don't reply it, don't take it. Just leave it that way. It's really emotional, and we have to take it that way. So whatever she has said, even if it's all right, guys.
So I should jump in and respond to Brother Paul Mayen.
Because we have been here for long, and I got to go to work.
Each one, guys, 4 minutes. Each one 4 minutes, Jeff.
4 minutes, and then I will close the show because I'm going to have a snap at least 2 hours because before I go to work, I have a night shift here.
Yeah. Once again, thank you very much, Isaac, and thank you, Agar. Thank you, Paul Mayen, and thank you, Coach, for being here with us on this very wonderful platform. The reason why I request you to give me the permission to introduce her is because I know how she's going to respond, and I'm not surprised. So my intention was actually to calm her down. But the way she responds, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the viewers, let's be emotional with her as well. She's emotional, and she made us emotional as well. We are human beings, and we understand why she's actually psychologically disturbed like that. So we respect our sister, and we have no intention whatsoever to say anything against her. So, Brother Coach, take it easy. This was not toward you as an individual, but to all of us. So let's sympathize with her psychologically. So thank you very much. Coming to Brother Paul Mayen. Paul Mayen, I think if you were actually following us closely when I was conversing with Brother DJ Akim, I told him frankly that I was not interfering in the affairs of the SPLA, SPLMIO, but I was actually commenting or analyzing. We were analyzing about the impact of the split or fragmentation in the SPLA, SPLM leadership is actually threatening the integrity of the peace agreement. And so that's what we were talking about. But if it were something to do with the internal affairs of the SPLA, SPLMIO, we have no issues with that. We have no issue at all to be concerned about the IO changing its own leadership, like what Gatwech Dual was actually doing. But the reason why we are being supportive of Dr. Riek Machar group is because Dr. Riek Machar is part of the peace agreement, and Dr. Riek Machar himself is the legal signatory to the peace agreement, which is a revitalized peace agreement. So according to the legal procedures of the peace that is being signed, which is now under the observation of the international community and the regional grantors, Dr. Riek Machar is a legitimate leader that must be recognized by the unity government of South Sudan. And that is why he deserves to be supported by all South Sudanese citizens collectively, because he's actually supporting peace agreement. So he's a partner to the peace agreement, and he deserves to be supported. But anyone that reneges or go against the peace agreement and establish a different groups that is not signatory to the peace agreement, that peace will be considered, that group will be considered anti-peace agreement. So in this case, General Gatwech Dual is against the peace agreement. And that means he's actually destabilizing the country by taking us back to the war. That's not our interest. And you spoke very clearly that you are for peace and stability of our country. If that is the case, Comrade Paul Mayen, then I think you should also be supportive of all the other opposition groups, including Dr. Riek Machar, who are signatories to the peace agreement. And we have to stand shoulder to shoulder with them in making sure this revitalized peace agreement is implemented to the letter. And that is what we must support. So in my case, I think I was not being intrusive or interfering with the affairs of the SPLAIO. But we should be concerned, all of us, irrespective of our political affiliation. We should be concerned about the peace and stability of our country. And that means whoever is supporting this peace agreement, we must support that particular group parties to make sure they implement the peace agreement. But for those who are going against the peace agreement, in the case of General Gatwech Dual and General Johnson Glony, General Thomas Chirilo, and any other group out there, including Paul Malong Awan, this group should be treated as anti-peace or anti-peace element. So that is our focus there. So I wasn't interfering with the affairs with our IO. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end. In addition to that, popular uprising is actually correlated to the military rebellion. And they are also coordinating with this military general. So everything is being coordinated by the opposition, irrespective of the affiliation. So anyone calling for popular uprising is also devastating to the stability and peace of our country. And we should not support that as well. If anyone is supporting popular uprising, while the military leaders are actually waging military offensive, this is very dangerous and it may cause genocide, and our country will look like a Libya. And we don't want a Libyan-style popular uprising, which is going to be very devastating. We don't want the Rwandanization of South Sudan. Thank you very much. And I think let's support peace and stability. Thank you very much, Isaac and Agar and Brother Paul. I think I have come to the conclusion of this comment.
Thank you, Brother Billy Luke, and all the viewers, wherever you are. Now I will give 4 minutes to our brother, Paul Mayen Malwal. Welcome, Paul. Unmute yourself. Whoa. Paul, you dropped while I'm giving you the chance.
Okay, he might come back. Go ahead and make your comment, whatever.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, this is our end of the show. Paul, maybe you will meet us again when we are on. So you will need to put your point, maybe not today, because your network cut you out. So I will thanks all our viewers, wherever they are, and Brother Isaac Chingful, the whole team of Lagos State Media, and our guests who were here with us on the panel. I will thank you all, wherever you are, and also those who are participating within the common, not in the panel. I will thank you also, and we are all requesting everybody to come together as South Sudanese, and we really, really need everybody to take everything easy, take everything in the heart of people who need to love each other, be in peace. Okay, Paul Mayan is here. Paul, sorry, your network, yeah, you're cutting out.
Yeah, my network keep going, coach. Billy Luke Chijal.
Yeah, Billy Luke is gone. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
But
I got
he's
it.
still watching. Yeah.
Okay. No, it's all good here. Yeah, budget. Okay. We'll touch base on weekend if there's any issue. But apart from that, it was a good discussion. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Any last word to our viewers?
Okay. Look, my last word is that we just need to treat this situation very carefully. We just need to advocate for peace, make sure that there is no uprising, if there is any, because I'm not aware of if there's any uprising going on, as Billy Luke was saying. Also, the IO political party, myself, I'm not a member of any political party. We just need to respect the internal problems. If they are changing leaders, let them do whatever they're doing and just stick to the peace at the moment. We'll see how it goes, because our aim is to have an elections hopefully by the end of next year, 2022, or hopefully beginning of 2023, if that's the case. So, Brother Billy Luke, if you are listening, our aim is to make sure that we have a sustainable peace within South Sudan. And I know you're one of the people who is very vocal about peace in North America. I'm not sure if you're still there. And with a lot of civil societies that are currently active across the region, whether within Juba or within with diaspora, we need to say that let's work with the government. Let's the government participate, making sure that we have a peace implementation. See, we are very sensitive. Any small issue, there's a saying that say a small thing can a small thing or a big ship a little sing.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So if we look at current situation, we South Sudanese, we are very resilient, very strong people. And you have seen the issue of Lake State, which we leave it aside because we all want peace, you know. But if revitalized peace agreement, if it's collapsed, Brother Billy Luke, what will happen is it's something like what will come up is either we have a complete peace, or we'll have a complete disaster, like a fragile state where everyone has to survive on their own. I'm not saying the current situation is the best situation we have in South Sudan. A lot of people I've spoken to said that because I've been there in the last 2012, I was there. Some people cautioned me to say that if you come now, things are even worse, you know? And I do quite agree with them, because a duration of 8 years is a longer period. And a lot of views are rejected by the government opposition. And if you have a revitalized peace agreement, personally, it's not the best peace model that we have. If you look in terms of ADR process, Billy Luke and others, like alternative dispute resolution that we could have in South Sudan is not through ARCAS. And for one reason is a lot of MPs that have been nominated, like the 555, We can discuss it another day about what is the future of the South Sudan with these 500 plus MPs. Because one of the main challenges is that, first of all, they don't have resources. Second to it, they don't have connection with the localities because of the instability. And if we use the IO situation now to, like, a lot of people are saying that the peace is already not working. It's going to be dismantled, you know, and that is true. They could be right, you know. One of the ways how a Addis Ababa agreement, 1972 agreement, was collapsed was towards the end. There's always changes to how the government behave, and those behaviors, those are the things that indicate whether there will be a stability after that. And who are going to be the losers if there is no peace after 2022? They're the citizens, you know. We are the impacted people. Majority of us in diaspora want to go back home. Majority of us have skills that they want to have the community. If there is a war in the country, let's say within your locality, that itself, there's a lot of people who have who have taken a lot of risks to go there and live there with their localities. Yeah. If our interest is to go back and help the community, you know. So Billy, look, thanks for coming through, and I really appreciate the host, Isaac Tieng and Agar, for giving us the opportunity. But other than that, thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul Mayan.
Thank you so
much. I need to put one thing so that our viewers and everybody can hear it from Lagos State Media. So you guys, we don't need to interpret anything which is belong to some kind of individual medias. For example, I will let you guys know from today onward, we will not accept anything from outside that we can put it as a topic or discussion about it, which is belong to someone else. So the only thing we discuss within Lagos State Media here is, for example, our brother Billy Luke can come and say, you guys, I need you to host my program, and then we will go on with it. Or Paul Mayan, he will come up, or anybody can come up with his own program, and he will let us know, and then we will put a timetable and put the time and the date, and then you will come and you can be hosted within Lagos State Media. But you cannot come and say, okay, Isaac, can you put this one on? And it wasn't in our program already, so we will deny that, and we will still do that one until the ending of our program. So put it in your mind, next time when you come up, be prepared that you are here to be host within Lagos State Media, but we will not accept anything coming from outside to be explained within Lagos State Media. Thank you, Isaac.
All right, thank you so much, Agar. I'm sorry, guys. I've been interrupted with a lot of phone calls here within my community. We have lockdown, and I've got a lot of things that I have to attend. And now we have been here for 3 hours. Maybe in the conclusion, because I mute every sound into such that I communicate with the people. Thank you for attending and your participation in this very critical, important 2 topics. We heard your voices, those who comment and those who participate in the panels. That is the heart of the citizens of the country that would like their country not to go back to war or not to shed blood again. So thank you so much. I appreciate your presence. God bless you all. What has happened and what is going to happen, we don't need it to happen again. Because Anuna Kullu for Markup White, whatever we are cooking outside here will affect us back. Even if I'm in Western world, if I'm just ringing the bell of rebellion, I'm within the markup betakum de. And that's why Emmanuel Kembe said that Anuna Kullu for Markup White. If Anuna Kullu for Markup White, you should remember Matakul Jab Markup Betak. Thank you so much for being with us in this show. God bless you. Have a good time. Murkab
Nina Burua Warat, going to the promised land. Nina Buwaki Fijamba, Nafayat Nafo. Nina Burua Warat, going to the promised land. Nina Buwaki Fijamba, Nafayat Nafo. Nina Burua Warat, going to the promised land. Nina Buwaki Fijamba, Nafayat Nafo. Nina Burua Warat, going to the promised land. Nina Bulu Imurkabwa, Mashile Kidam, Umurkabwa Nina Kileglek Shuea, Lakir Mashile Kidam, Ashan Fisika Kisafik Lena, Kisafik Befara Kabir, Yululet, Nawa Umen Yululet.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that thing. Control like a stand, Panchir America. Panchir Dual, Banaban, Control like a stand, Panchir America. Panchir Dual, Banaban, walk on your leg, Kankaro, what on a watching. Koga, level leg, gear, pow, very leg. Panda with ya, Panchir America. Panya Dual, Vano, Chingatonga, Pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda, you, what ya be, Panchir